Park, Japan and Cuba for the right to head to Los Angeles in the semifinals of the World Baseball Classic. The manager of the Yomiuri Giants during Japanese baseball, Tatsunori Hara, the manager of Japan. Let's take a look at his lineup right now. The starting lineup is presented by 2K Sports, Major League Baseball, 2K9, and some familiar faces for Major League fans. There are 4 players in this lineup tonight who play Major League Baseball, including Kenji Jojima, who didn't hit very well for the Mariners last year, but is hitting extremely well in this tournament to the tune of a .471 average. The pitcher, as we mentioned, for Cuba, right-hander Yunieski Maya.
Yunieski Maya has outstanding stuff. He actually pitches backwards, though, relies on his breaking ball and his changeup to set up his fastball, a little bit like El Duque Hernandez that pitched for the Yankees. You remember the reliance on the breaking ball and the changeup, and then finish you with the fastball.
And defensively, a young man who really impressed us in the outfield. He's in a different spot in the outfield tonight, Yenis Cespedes.
Cespedes, outstanding athlete. This guy can run. He's got some power at the plate, can cover a lot of ground in the outfield. And outfield defense is strength for the Cuban national team.
So here we go at Petco Park on what was a gorgeous day. Temperature in the 80s, not a cloud in the sky, and it has turned into a gloomy, foggy evening here on the Pacific Coast. But we are ready for baseball. Japan and Cuba. Japan beating Cuba on Sunday earlier in this round. Japan beating Cuba in the 2006 WBC Championship game. If Japan is to continue, they need more from Ichiro. Ichiro is hitting just .174 in the World Baseball Classic. And here in the second round, he is 0 for 9. Takes a strike, 1-1.
He hit last night with men on first and third and got an RBI with a ground ball they couldn't double him up on, but it was a key at bat then that really could have continued an inning if he could have got a hit.
Ichiro, and this is very unlike him, especially in a tournament like this, an international tournament. He elected not to speak to the media, not to give any quotes to the Japanese press last night, apparently so upset over the loss to South Korea, another loss to South Korea, that he just blew by everybody, kind of put his right hand up in the air and dismissed everybody and said, I'm not talking.
Well, it's time to stop talking and start hitting, and he's chasing balls out of the zone and taking strikes.
Well, the 06 World Baseball Classic, he hit over 350, and he was a big part of their offense, and they depend on him here at the top of the order. Even manager Hara said hopefully Ichiro's himself.
The 2-2 swung on and rolled out to second. Hector Oliveira with a flip on to first for the out. And look at the umpiring crew tonight, and as is the case in every World Baseball Classic game, there are 2 Major League umpires. They will always occupy home plate and second base. So Cowboy Joe West is at home plate. Juan Rodriguez from Puerto Rico is at first, and Paul Hyam from Australia is at third. 1 out, nobody on for Japan here. Just underway, top of the first inning from San Diego. And the batter was the shortstop for Japan, Hiroyuki Nakajima. And a broken back ground ball to third. Play it on to first for out number 2. And the majority of that bat is well down beyond the dugout and the camera bay down the left field line.
Well, the bat went further than the ball on that one. There's no question about it. Nakajima getting his first action here in the second round. Came down with a flu bug in Tokyo when they came back over to the States to get ready. Just was not healthy enough to play, and so had been out of the lineup. And doesn't look like his timing's quite right just yet.
As you can see from that shot from center field, and it looks even more significant from where we are behind home plate. The fog has rolled in, and it is low right now. It's not quite as thick as it was about 10 minutes ago, but there's the possibility that some pop-ups, fly balls, they're going to be tricky here tonight. Left fielder Norichika Aoki is up, hitting .278 so far in the Classic. And he fouls one back.
The thing I like about Maya here early on, establishing fastball inside, not afraid to throw that fastball in, which later will open up the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, the scouting report on him was to use his breaking ball to set up his fastball, but he's being very aggressive with his fastball here.
He's already gotten a couple of ground ball outs. Ahead 1-2 on Aoki, and he wouldn't bite at that high fastball.
92. If I had a 92-mile-an-hour pitch, I would. The fastball, I would not be a pitcher that pitched backwards. I would use that to establish and then use my breaking ball later.
Squinting in over his glove, looking for the signs from his catcher, Ariel Castano. 2-2, and a curveball hits softly into right center for a base hit. Kind of a defensive swing there by Aoki, but he's got himself a single.
Well, part of the Japanese game is to play small ball, and they do not like to strike out. They put a lot of balls in play. When they first beat Cuba here 6-0, that game they had 10 hits at one point and 9 were singles, and they were just putting the ball in play and finding holes.
So 2 outs and a man at first for Japan here in the first inning. Castano out to the mound. Castano, maybe the most involved catcher that you will ever see in a major league game. And here's the DH, Atsunori Inaba. A cleanup hitter, 2 for 11 thus far in the WBC. Aoki, the runner at first, does have speed. 31 steals last year in Japan. As Inaba takes high, ball 1.
Well, Tatsunori Hara, the manager for Japan, trying to get some power in the lineup and another left-handed bat. Inaba hasn't played a lot in the World Baseball Classic, but Japan's offense has been limited to 1 extra base hit here in the second round.
Now fielders basically playing straight away here as a throw to first. Got him! Picked off at first is Aoki. Nice move by Maya, surprises Aoki and ends the inning. No runs, a base hit, nobody left after the pickoff to the bottom of the first. No score. Bottom of the first inning back at Petco Park. Eugenio Velez, the manager of Cuba, as his team gets ready to come up here in this scoreless game. We'll take a look at the Cuban lineup now, presented by 2K Sports Major League Baseball 2K9. And maybe the most all-round talented player, as great a hitter as Cepeda is, maybe the best all-round player is Yulieski Gurriel, offensively, defensively, and very young too. Really just coming into his prime for Cuba. On the mound for Japan, the winningest pitcher, as we mentioned off the top of the show in Japanese baseball last year, Hisashi Iwakuma.
6'3", 169 pounds. That is a tall drink of water. He has the typical hesitation delivery that most Japanese pitchers have. But watch for the fork ball. An outstanding fork ball just drops off the table.
Pretty impressive numbers. Not just the Japanese equivalent of the Cy Young Award winner, but the MVP of the Pacific League. He did that in 28 starts, won 21 of his 28 starts. The season's a little shorter in Japan, and generally speaking, it's a 6-man rotation instead of a 5-man rotation, so slightly fewer starts. Hector Oliveira, the second baseman, will lead it off for Cuba. He is 4 for 12 thus far in the World Baseball Classic. You can hear the thunder sticks around the ballpark here tonight. They are at their noisiest when Korea is playing, but the Japanese fans like them too. A breaking ball swung on, grounded out to short, gobbled up by Nakajima, 1 down. Defensively now, Japan, a very good defensive team. A guy we know, Aki Iwamura, Steve, made a great adjustment from third to second in the majors last year, but he caused Japan some problems last night.
Yeah, we talked about Yu Darvish, the pitcher for Japan, struggling in the first inning, but Aki Iwamura, the second baseman, had a couple of misplays that I think really cost them and allowed the Korean national team to get an extra out, and it led to some run scoring. So he's got to pick up his defense.
The number 2 hitter in the Cuban lineup is designated hitter Michel Enriquez, who takes that breaking ball up and in. Enriquez, a veteran of the national team, a couple of Olympics, the WBC in 2006, several other international tournaments, World Cups, Pan American Games. Another swing and a ground ball to second. Or ground ball to short, excuse me, 2 down. Cuba, and this is remarkable, in their last 50 significant international competitions, 1 WBC, 5 Olympics, Pan American Games, Intercontinental Cups, World Cups, they've never finished worse than second. That's incredible.
And that's 42 first place finishes or 8 second place finishes. So they know how to play tournament baseball, and this is an elimination game, and they know they need to pick it up.
2 outs, nobody on in a hurry in the bottom of the first, and here's Yulieski Gurriel, first pitch swinging, and he grounds one sharply up the middle into center field. for base hits. Iwakuma surrenders his first hit of the night, and for more on Iwakuma down to field level as we are joined by Orestes Destrada. Oh,
hey guys, down here in this foggy San Diego field down here. But listen, I was talking to a former teammate of mine, Somo Ito, now the bench coach for manager Hara and Team Japan, and he was telling me how he feels that of the three big guns that they have, which obviously Yu Darvish and the great Daisuke Matsuzaka, this kid Iwakuma might be the best one of them all. A guy that pitched for a second to last place team in the Rockton Eagles, an expansion team, but nevertheless is a go-to guy, a guy that, as we had talked about before, 25 decisions in 28 starts, and I think they got the right guy on the mound for this type of a devastating, winner-take-all type of a game.
Well, there's nothing better than a game that's do or die to have your guy out there that you really trust. He's been attacking the hitters already in the first two at-bats and even gives up the base hit on a first pitch strike, so he does not seem intimidated by this situation.
The batter, Frederick Cepeda, the left fielder. The batter we talked about off the top of the show, he chases a ball in the dirt. That a fork ball there, or?
That was a fork ball. I'm almost positive that ball looked like it was going to be a low fastball, maybe shin high, but the anticipation of the swing by Fredericks, because he'd been swinging the bat really well.
Well, it tells you how good a pitch it is, because nobody's made Frederick Cepeda look like that. And as we talked in the opening, 20 at-bats, 1 strikeout in the World Baseball Classic. He recognizes ball from strike, fastball from forkball.
12 hits in those 20 at-bats, 3 homers, 10 RBI, some of the best offensive numbers anybody's got in the WBC. The runner at first, Gurriel, 2 down, no score, bottom of the first. And Cepeda takes an inside strike right over the inside corner under his hands, and the count is 0-2.
You see the way Cepeda stands at the plate. His front elbow is over the inside corner, and he throws it right there and backs him up a little bit. K-Zone says maybe just a little bit inside, but Joe West says, my K-Zone, that's a strike. And there's no arguing with Joe.
Set by Iwakuma, trying to freeze the runner, who is going on the 0-2. The swing and the ball hit sharply back to the mound, knocked down, picked up, and on to first to end the inning. Only 8 pitches needed, a man left on, and we are scoreless through 1 here in San Diego. Top of the second back in San Diego. Dan Schulman, or Hershiser, Steve Phillips, Orestes Destrada. Japan and Cuba in an elimination game. The winner is on to the semifinals and will play Korea tomorrow night for seeding purposes. Heading into the semis, the loser is eliminated. Tsunori Inaba, the cleanup hitter and designated hitter tonight for Japan, will lead it off. 2 for 11 thus far in the Classic. Inaba, a 14-year veteran of Japanese professional baseball, also a member of the Olympic team for Japan in Beijing in 2008. Lays off that breaking ball down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. The numbers a year ago for Inaba. Fastball right down the middle, grounded out to second, reaching to his left, Oliveira, 1 down. Well, the big moment for Team USA last night against Puerto Rico in an elimination game in the other pool. Trailing 5-3 going to the bottom of the 9th. Eventually bases loaded, 1 out. David Wright loops one down the right field line for a game-winning 2-run double. Team USA over Puerto Rico 6-5. So the United States joins Venezuela from their pool in the semifinals in Los Angeles. Right now, Venezuela is leading the U.S. 10-6 in the 8th inning. For seeding purposes, that would make Venezuela the first place team in their pool, USA the second place, and you cross over. 1 plays 2, 2 plays 1. At this point, given who's left, how significant is that, Earl?
I don't think it matters at all. I think it's almost like a spring training game just to get people ready and see who wants at bats.
Ground ball to short. And quickly 2 down here in the second for Japan.
I think the one thing for the U.S., though, to be able to play another game today, even if it's for seeding, you know, of the teams that have a chance to advance, the U.S. is probably, still trying to get their legs under them more than any of the other teams. So there is some value for that. And quite honestly, I'd rather play in the Saturday game than the Sunday game heading into the weekend, so that if I throw pitchers on Saturday and they stand to the 30 pitches, they're fresher coming back for the Monday game.
Pitches down and in, ball 1 to Michihiro Ogasawara. News in today that Kevin Youkilis is out for the semifinals and finals with an ankle injury. Another injury suffered by Team USA. And they seem to have suffered more than any other team in the tournament.
Boy, they sure have, huh? A lot of rib cage strains. And when I saw them go out and celebrate yesterday, I got worried somebody was going to get hurt in the celebration.
That dog pile was progressive. I mean, it started by the mound and ended up, it kind of trickled all the way out. By the time they fell, it was at second base.
You know, there's some moments, and you've seen this in USA basketball as well, where sometimes it takes the players a while to get the feel for what it is they're participating in, and they need a big moment, really, for everything to come together. Here's a fly ball up into the fog in right field and caught on the edge of the track by Despaina. 3 up and 3 down goes Japan as we go to the bottom of the second. A look now at Japanese baseball heritage presented by Valspar. Baseball originally introduced back in the 1870s in Japan, but barnstorming tours. Babe Ruth and company in the 1930s so popular. Sadaharu Oh, the world all-time home run leader with 868. Ichiro just taking the major leagues by storm over the last 8 years. And Japan enjoying international success as well, winning the 2006 World Baseball Classic over Cuba. The team they are playing in an elimination game here tonight for the opportunity to go to Los Angeles and the semifinals along with the United States, Venezuela, and Korea. And next half inning, Orestes Estrada will be sitting down at field level with Sadaharu Oh. 868 home runs. Nobody anywhere has hit more professional home runs than Oh. Bunted it back to the mound. Low throw dug out at first by Ogasawara, and Yenis Cespedes is retired.
Well, the bunt attempt was not a very good one. If you're going to bunt for a hit on the first pitch of the inning, it's a base hit or foul as far as the angle should be concerned, but a nice play there at first base, picking it up.
Iwakuma with the fork ball over there, huh?
Yeah, he's keeping the ball down even when he throws at the bases.
Good to have a 6-time Gold Glover over at first base. Ogasawara won 1 at third, won the other 5 at first base in Japan. Here's Alfredo Despaina, the right fielder tonight. Got jammed on that breaking ball and he fouls it off.
I'll say Cuba's been very, very aggressive early in the count. Swinging a lot of pitches, even some balls out of the zone. Not just fastballs either. I mean, they've hit first pitches. If it's anywhere close, they're trying to put it in play.
Iwakuma's thrown only 10 pitches so far, facing his 6th batter. 9 of the 10 have been strikes. As he misses in the dirt there, 1-1. Are Cuban hitters guys known generally as aggressive hitters, or are they just trying to take advantage of a guy who's in the zone?
I think it's anxiety. I think it's anxiety against Japan. When we've watched them against all other teams other than Japan, they have a plan, they're patient. The game seems to be longer when they're involved in it.
A roller down to third, scooped up by Murata, and quickly 2 down. All 5 outs have been on the ground. Well, why does Cuba, why are they so worried about playing Japan? Maybe because Japan has had some success against them, with Japan winning their meeting in this tournament. That was on Sunday, and beating them in the final of the World Baseball Classic back in 2006. But overall, Cuba leads in recent years against Japan. Cuba leads just about everybody in recent years. Again, the dominant power in international baseball.
When anytime you see a team that is at least even or maybe dominating them a little bit, that's huge news for Cuba. So I can see why they can be intimidated, because they have beat everyone and win every medal, and they're just unbelievable, their power and their record in international baseball. So for them to be a little bit starstruck when they take on Japan, pretty normal.
Ripped down the right field line. That ball's going to stay fair and get down and bounce deep into the corner. Leslie Anderson, the Cuban first baseman, into second base. Not gracefully, but into second base.
Well, Eugenio Velez has Leslie Anderson in the lineup because he wanted line drive hitters here at Petco Park, because it's tough to hit the ball out. You see him do a nice job of clearing his hands, staying inside the ball, and driving it down into the corner. Leslie Anderson hit .398 last year in the Cuban Professional League, so he put up some big numbers there, and a guy can really hit for average. Pretty tough pitch he turned around.
He was thinking about third base. He had his eyes fixated on his third base coach just in case he got the go-ahead, but with 2 outs, no sense taking the risk. A base hit here by Pistano would probably cash in Anderson. This is the Cuban catcher. Pistano 4 for 11 thus far in the WBC. And in the dirt, ball 1. Time now to take a look at the cold hard facts brought to you by Coors Light. Cuba has hit the ball better than any other team so far in the World Baseball Classic. Look at the batting average and the OPS. They lead the WBC in all significant offensive categories, yet they need to win tonight to advance. Lose and they are out. He's got the double by Anderson, and Pistano swinging for the fences right there.
Yeah, an awfully big swing right there. Now Pistano, clearly a veteran. He's been around for a long time for the Cuban national team and been in a lot of these critical situations. Well, that's a big swing. I mean, you've got to start thinking about, let's put it in play and don't try to make it a 2-0 lead. Get on the board.
Every run so critical. Both teams have their full complement of relievers available. Their starters are not because of pitch counts and required rest, but the relievers are good to go up and down the line for both countries. Grounded to the left side. The shortstop, Nakajima, on to first in time to end the inning. No runs, a double, but he's left on, and we're scoreless at the end of 2. And we welcome you back to San Diego. Japan and Cuba in an elimination game. The winner on to the semis. The loser is out. No scores. We go to the top of the 3rd on this foggy night here in San Diego. Both pitchers throwing strikes, getting ground balls in the early going. Momentarily going to be joined by Sadaharu Oh. 868 home runs, the most that anybody has ever hit anywhere in professional baseball. Also the manager of Team Japan back in 2006. And the pronounced leg kick there that became synonymous with Sadaharu Oh. And managed professionally in Japan for many years, about 26, 27 years, a player for over 20 years, and again the manager of Japan in this tournament in 2006, and they beat Cuba in this ballpark to win the championship 3 years ago. Let's go down now to Orestes Destrada with Sadaharu Oh.
Yeah, I'm down here. This is quite an honor for me to be with the living legend, a great ambassador of the game, Sadaharu Oh, obviously the international home run king, and former manager of the defending champs, Team Japan. Sadaharu Oh, 本当にありがとうございますね。すみません。よろしくお願いします。It's kind of difficult for you to be here, not managing. How hard is it to watching instead of managing?
試合を見ることは、どの気持ちでしょうか。やっぱりユニフォーム着てない方がね、プレッシャーありますよ。ドキドキします。So he said, you know, when he was wearing his uniform last time as the coach got a lot of pressure, but this time, you know, he's still nervous watching the game.
I saw you right when Fukudome-san was coming up to bat. Your eyes lit up because maybe he remembered a great memory from that great pinch hit home run that Fukudome had in 06.
さんが打席に来てました。なんか王さんが目がすごい。そうですね。韓国の時にね、でヒーローになるようなものすごい大きなホームラン打ってくれましたからね。彼のが打席立ったらなんかやってくれるんじゃないかと思いますね。Yeah, so he was a hero of a game against Korea when he hit a big home run. So he's thinking, you know, I hope he can be a big hero again today.
As far as when you managed in these type of elimination games back in 2006, what did you tell your team, and what do you think manager Hara is telling his team now in these difficult elimination games?
この試合の結果で、残れるかどうか決まりますので、前回の WBC 同じ状況がありましたが、その時に、選手にどんなメッセージを伝えますか。とにかく今日こういうグラウンドでね野球ができるわけですから、とにかくチャンスあるわけですから、とにかく思い切ってね、 もう勝つしかないですから、気持ち一つにして頑張ってほしいです。
Okay, so tonight is a big game. It's a must-win game. So he said, go out there and do your best, leave it all out on the field, and really just good luck.
Since 06 and the emergence of the World Baseball Classic, the Japanese fans especially have been incredible supporters. 37,000 showed up at Miyazaki. You were there at the first practice. To what do you attain this incredible support that the Japan and its fans have for the team Japan in the World Baseball Classic?
3万7000人
はいはい
のファンが宮崎の球場に来て応援しました。これだけの日本チームに注目が、集まるのは、なぜ
まあやっぱり第1回優勝してますからね。でやはりWBC のねに対する期待が大きいわけですよね、日本チームにね。ですからファンの人はもう我々の第1回よりものすごくね今回も勝ってほしいと思ってると思います。
Okay, so they won last time, and so there's a lot of people that know about the team and the tournament, and they're all coming out to help support Team Japan, and they just want us to win again. So we really appreciate all that support.
Wan-chan, Manager Hara is under a lot of pressure because of the legacy that you left in this championship in 06. What is your advice? What has been your advice to Manager Hara throughout this whole 2009 World Baseball Classic?
トーナメントが始まる前、原監督にどんなアドバイスを送りましたか？
とにかくこのチームの監督は原監督だけですからね。だからとにかく自分が選んだ選手たちですから、とにかく自信持ってね思い切ってやってほしいですね。
So this is Manager Hara's team. He picked these players. He knows the team better than anybody. So he's got a lot of I have a lot of confidence in him that he's going to do a great job.
You and Hank Aaron are probably the two greatest ambassadors of baseball. What do you think about this World Baseball Classic and the fact that it can advance baseball worldwide, globally?
王さんとヘンケンは野球世界で一番偉いな人ですので、この大会を王さんは何を考えてますか？
そうですね、やはりどんどんこれが第2回ですけど、5回とか10回とか続けられたらね、もっともっと野球の輪が広がるでしょうし、レベルも上がってくるでしょうからね、やはりとにかくこの大会を続けてほしいですね。我々はそれにできることは何でもやります。
Okay, so this is the second time we've done it. The first time was a great success. It looks like it's a huge success again. I feel like I just want to see this tournament continue and see this help progress baseball forever.
本当にありがとうございます。Thank you, Wan-chan. Thank you very much.
Orestes, great job. Orestes Estrada, who played in the majors, born in Cuba, played in the majors, also played in Japan. And what a great benefit it is to us to have somebody who can speak English, Spanish, and Japanese working this tournament and able to facilitate an interview with someone the likes of Sadaharu Oh. The very classy and dignified former legendary hitter, former manager of Team Japan. And we wish Sadaharu Oh the best health-wise, suffering from stomach cancer. One of the reasons he was not under consideration to manage this team. He has had surgery, undergoing treatment, and we wish him the very best. 868 home runs, a career 300 hitter, 5-time batting champion. As mentioned, the manager here in the 2006 Classic when Japan beat Cuba in the championship game.
And you look at the video of him with a big leg kick, and you look at a lot of the Japanese players, and that leg kick has prevailed. I mean, it has become the thing that has defined many of the Japanese hitters. You grow up watching ball players, and sometimes you emulate their approach, their delivery as a pitcher. When I was a kid, I emulated Oral's delivery, and as a hitter, you look up to certain hitters, and you try to emulate them. Well, a lot of these Japanese players today emulated Sadaharu Oh.
You deserve better, Oral.
Wow.
You need new friends.
Yeah.
You deserve better. Almost a terrific play by Perret. The pitcher Maya tried to barehand it on the way up the middle, but it'll be a 2-out infield single for Akinori Iwamura.
Actually looked like Maya might have gotten a piece of it with his bare hand, and that's a no-no. That's your bread and butter is your pitching hand, and the ball goes back up the middle, and you see Maya as Iwamura goes back up the middle with it, sticks his hand out there, and it looked like it might have deflected just a little bit. but Perret not able to get over to make the play on it. Yeah, he did just get some. Look on the fingertip, and that's dangerous.
Off his ring finger.
Maya right now has thrown 40 pitches. If you throw 30 or more, you can't pitch the next day, but this is an elimination game. They have to try to win. If you throw 50 or more, you're out for 4 days, which means that Maya would not be able to pitch until the championship game if Cuba were to get that far on Monday. So it will be interesting to see as pitchers get into the high 40s, will they pull them back, or you just have to worry about today right now. Just do anything you can to win the game. And there is activity right now in the Cuban bullpen. 50 is the magic number for pitchers tonight. Will their managers let pitchers reach 50?
Well, I think an elimination game, if you're getting people out, I don't think it matters how many pitches. They can't worry about what could happen in Los Angeles for the semifinals and finals. They've got to try to get there. You know, one of the things, remember, there was the controversy about the number of pitches that Maya and Yulieski Gonzalez threw in the Monday game. They each threw 30 pitches. The rules say 30 or more pitches, you need a day off. They were not able to pitch yesterday. Maya was crying because he wasn't able to pitch.
There was a mistake in the translation handed to the Cuban team, and the Cuban team thought that more than 30 and you needed a day off, that 30 was okay. So they allowed their pitchers to get to 30 and lost the use of 2 of them for their game a couple of nights ago. Still won the game though against Mexico to earn a spot in this game.
Well, they presented the rules to them in a team meeting of all the teams. They also were on a piece of paper that was in English that needed to be translated, and then they were given a card that was maltranslated. The word was used with Gene Orza. I still don't know if it's a real word, but maltranslated. And that was the point where they lost it. And you knew that when they both had exactly 30 pitches, that manager Valdez thought that that was the rule.
And again, for both teams tonight, only pitchers who have been starters in the tournament are ineligible. They both have their full complement of relievers available. The 1-2 to Ichiro, and he chops it towards short. Perret the short way to force the runner and end the inning. No runs, a base hit, and a man to left. Still no score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. The World Baseball Classic continues on ESPN tomorrow night as the winner of this game takes on South Korea to see who will win this pool and who will be second. That's for seeding purposes and matchup purposes heading into the semifinals. The World Baseball Classic on ESPN tomorrow at 9 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Number 9 hitter Eduardo Perret, the Cuban shortstop, leads off the bottom of the 3rd, shows bunt, and he takes outside ball 1. We have a final in from Miami now. Venezuela has defeated the United States 10-6. So Venezuela will be seeded first, the United States second in their pool. The champion of this pool will play the United States. But again, at this point, it still could be Korea, Japan, or Cuba. Nothing has been decided here in this pool. Now, you were saying, Steve, you thought it was an advantage to play your semifinal on Saturday and to have the day off before the championship game?
I do. I just think that now that the rules are the same for pitchers on the weekend, that if you throw 30 pitches on Saturday, you know, the rules now are you throw 30 pitches one day, you need a day off, which would give an advantage to the Saturday team. That's not what they're doing. If you throw 30 pitches on Saturday, it's like you pitched on Sunday, so you will not be able to pitch in the Monday game. But if I throw 29 pitches, then you're available to pitch in the Monday game, and you're fresher to be able to do it. So I think Saturday is an advantage, which is the Pool 2 winner versus the runner-up from Pool 1.
Which is what Venezuela has now gotten as Perret bunts it foul. So Venezuela will play the runner-up in this pool on Saturday, and the United States will play the winner of this pool on Sunday. The championship game on a Monday, all the games on ESPN. Venezuela and the United States had already both advanced before their game tonight. Tonight was for seeding purposes. South Korea has already advanced, and they'll play the winner of this game tomorrow, also for seeding and matchup purposes heading into the semifinals. Swing and a miss. Boy, good movement on that pitch as Perret is retired.
Well, both pitchers have been outstanding tonight, and there's height and width that you worry about with your fastball. With Akuma, it's been mostly width, jamming people, getting it in, and elevating. With Maya, he has had both height and width. He can go to the corner. Watch these balls right on the corner. He is pinpointing and locating very, very well.
And the pitch count is extremely low for Iwakuma. Once through the order, he's thrown only 22 pitches.
You know, when you watch pitchers, if a pitcher can command a fastball down and away and throw a fastball in and not have either one drift back out over the plate, they can be very effective if they have any sort of off-speed pitch to go along with it.
You know, Steve, we talk about pitchers and how many pitches do they throw, and when a pitcher can locate his fastball, it is more than one pitch. It is not just one's a fastball, and it's even more than one pitch when you go to a four-seamer and a two-seamer, and if you can locate them both, that's 4 pitches just with one supposed pitch.
Another ground ball. Here comes the shortstop, Nakajima, 2 down. Iwakuma, as we mentioned off the top of the show, led the Pacific League in wins and ERA last year, 21-4, a 1.87 ERA. Was named the Pacific League Most Valuable Player. Pitched in the 2004 Olympics. Threw a scoreless inning against Cuba on Sunday. Pitched very well in a 1-0 loss to Korea in a round 1 game. So he's got all the credentials. His resume is a very strong one as he takes the mound tonight for Japan. And of the 8 outs he's gotten, 7 on the ground, 1 strikeout.
Last time I looked, those ground balls don't leave the ballpark. Have them hit it on the ground.
2 outs, nobody on, no score, bottom of the 3rd, in the bat of the DH, Michel Enriquez, and he grounds one foul up the 3rd baseline.
Iwakuma, even in his loss, the 1-0 loss to Korea, through 3 innings, only had 35 pitches. And remember, this young man, when he was 21-4, 201 2/3 innings, only 36 walks. He attacks the strike zone.
That's 28 starts as well, right? 28 starts,
28
over 200
starts.
innings pitched. A workhorse, and that's efficiency on the mound because you're throwing strikes.
The 1-1 to Enriquez. Another grounder foul.
And you think about it, he had over 150 strikeouts also, so that tells you the quality of the stuff, that he's not just getting it over and keeping it down and they're putting it in play. When he needs a strikeout, he has that kind of stuff to get a strikeout.
And again, all the outs on the ground except for the 1 strikeout. The base hit by Gurriel. It was hit hard, but on the ground up the middle. Leslie Anderson's the only guy who elevated a ball. He doubled into the right field corner in the 2nd inning.
This being my 2nd World Baseball Classic, and I got to go on an all-star tour in 1988 after the Dodgers won the World Series. We went over and we played teams in Japan. I am absolutely amazed at how far the ability has come. When we went over there, we did not respect their ability. We thought they were good, but they weren't great.
Chopper back to the mound, and another quick and easy inning for Hisashi Iwakuma as Cuba goes in order. The MLS returns to ESPN2 Thursday night as Juan Pablo Angel leads the New York Red Bulls against the expansion Seattle Sounders, who have former national team keeper Casey Keller. The ESPN MLS Game of the Week on ESPN2 tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. With Steve Phillips, Oral Hershiser, and Orestes Destrada, I'm Dan Schulman. Top of the 4th inning in San Diego. An elimination game here in the WBC. The winner goes to the semis. And we are scoreless, seeing 2 pitchers doing very well between Yuneski Maya of Cuba and Hisashi Iwakuma of Japan. This is the shortstop for Japan, Hiroyuki Nakajima, who slashes that fastball foul up the right side. Nakajima tonight making his first appearance of the 2nd round. As Steve mentioned earlier, was under the weather and they had been playing their backup there, but he is back in there tonight. 4 for 9 and limited at bats in the WBC. And a ground ball. Up with it, Peretz, and the tag applied by Anderson for the out. Time now to take a look at Cuban baseball heritage, presented by Valspar. Cuba's love for baseball, synonymous with its ultimate fan, of course, Fidel Castro. The Cuban National League consists of 16 teams. They play a 90-game winter schedule. Cubans in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, Tony Perez and Martin Diego. Cuba, of course, has enjoyed immense international success, winning 25 World Cups and 3 Olympic gold medals. They love their baseball. Aoki, the left fielder, is the batter now, and he takes a strike. They were the runner-up, Cuba was, in the 2006 WBC to Japan. And Cuba was the silver medalist in the 2008 Olympics to South Korea. So by Cuban standards, they're in a slump internationally.
Yeah, right.
Aoki had a base hit his first time up, backs away from that inside fastball.
Well, this one will undress you a little bit. Usually waist-high fastballs are not kind of knockdown pitches unless you get that far in. Usually you want to get somebody off the edge of the plate. It's from the arms up to move their eyes. But you move everything when you're that deep inside.
And the Japanese fans really starting to make some noise here in San Diego. They easily outnumber the Cuban fans tonight. The Korean fans have really distinguished themselves, both in numbers and enthusiasm here at Petco Park. Slow breaking ball for a strike, full count. Aoki wasn't sure.
A 3-1 breaking ball. The guy who really doesn't have much home run power, but still giving him plenty of respect, dropping that in just at the top of the strike zone. Looks like ball 4, high fastball. No, drops in there for a strike.
Now fastball grounded into center field, a base hit. Aoki is 2 for 2. Well, we talked about Sada Haruo, the all-time leader in home runs in Japan. Orestes Kindelan is the all-time leader in home runs in Cuba. 487 home runs and some terrific success on the international scene for Cuba as well. Part of 2 gold medal winning teams in the Olympics, 1 silver medal winning team. 98 home runs in international competition. Now, granted, this is back when he played, they used aluminum bats in Cuba. So things have changed the last few years as they've gone to a wood bat. But still, 487 home runs, pretty good number.
That's a pretty good number. But only since 1999 have they used the wood bats when they had the exhibition games against the Baltimore Orioles, both in Camden Yards and then over in Cuba as well. They brought wood bats in, and from that point on, they transitioned to wood in Cuba. In fact, Juan Pedroso on the Cuban bench is the all-time leader in home runs, over 200 home runs with the wood bat.
That a tough adjustment for hitters? If they've been, I mean, college hitters go through it.
I think it's definitely a tough adjustment, and as quickly as they did it.
Yeah, grown men swinging aluminum bats is a scary thing if you're a pitcher 90 or 60 feet away.
And the quality of the aluminum bats wasn't as good back then. They were probably denting and breaking a lot of aluminum bats, as strong as they were.
Keep an eye on the runner at first. Aoki was picked off by Maya back in the first inning.
And he was going on the pitch. He flinched like he was starting to go. And 31 stolen bases last year, so he can run.
Ripped to right field and deep. Up against the wall on a bounce. Despena has to give chase onto the track. Rounding third and putting the brakes on is Aoki on a double by Inaba.
Well, Inaba got a pitch up in the zone that his eyes lit up when he saw he was going to drive it. He just crushes his breaking ball out to the corner. And it goes to the wall. You see him, the ball just kind of hangs up there from Maya, and Inaba just all over it. Perfect time. And Despena goes out there, plays it off the walls. It really kicks on that angle, gets to it quickly. And I tell you what, you got to send him right here. It's not even to the relay man yet. I'm surprised they held him up, especially with 1 out in the inning.
They are in the heart of their order right now. Their number 5 hitter, Shuichi Murata, who is hit for average and power in the WBC, is up right now. It's Eugenio Velez. The Cuban manager is out to the mound to talk to Maya and the rest of the infield. Maya has gone past 50 pitches, so they're not worried about that. They're keeping a guy in there right now who they think can do the job. They're going to keep him in there as long as they can and not worry about his eligibility in future games. Got to win tonight to advance to L.A.
I tell you what, in the first game they played against Japan, Japan had a lot of scratch hits and hit the ball very shallow. Tonight with the heavy air, they're playing very shallow. Cuba is tonight, completely different. And the reason this ball kicks and he still gets to it, I am very surprised that Japan didn't score. He was so shallow. You see, he was the home plate for a long time to chase that ball down. But I think he just got held up because of the 1 out, and they decided not to try and run themselves out of the inning.
The batter was the third baseman, Shuichi Morata, who led the Central League in home runs last year with 46. And that's in just 132 games. He's been the home run champion in the Central League each of the last 2 years. First pitch swinging. Fly ball, very shallow center field. Cespedes in to make the catch. 2 down. The runners cannot advance.
Well, now you look at the coaching decision not to send the runner from third after that long double to right field, and you say, would that be a turning point in the game? Huge for Maya on the mound, the confidence as a pitcher. When you give up that double and you know you had a speedy guy on first base and you come back to the mound and they're still at second and third instead of a man on second and run in, your confidence grows, and you're pitching with second and third and a base open, so you still feel like you have tools to get out of the inning.
I still think it was a bad decision to hold. I think you get down the line, and if the cutoff man does not have the ball yet as the runner's round at third base, you've got to send him. Plus, even if he's throwing out, you still have a runner in scoring position at second base, and maybe third if he advances on the throw to the plate.
The batter, Michihiro Ogasawara, the first baseman, another one of the key offensive players. Key players both ways, really, for Japan. Ogasawara has won an MVP in both leagues, in 2006 and in 2007.
Joe West calling that high pitch tonight, both on breaking balls and on fastballs.
Second and third, 2 down. No score. Swing and a miss at a knee-high fastball, 0-2.
You see Pastano going out there yelling at Maya. Pastano set up his glove really in the right-hand hitter's, middle of the right-hand hitter's batter's box. He wanted it way off the plate, and Maya threw it right down the middle. Unfortunately, Ogasawara swung and missed.
Not a lot of American catchers go out and yell at a pitcher in the middle of an at-bat because he missed his location, especially when he got a swing and a miss and he's out in front 0-2. But that's Pastano's MO. He is vocal. There's the 0-2, and a fastball missed outside.
I'll tell you what, I do not like the early target right there on that last pitch. You've got a man on second can relay that sign in a hurry. You've got a pitcher on the mound that's hitting his target. So when you've got somebody on the mound hitting their target and you got a chance to relay a sign, that's a lot of confidence between the base runner relaying the sign and the hitter receiving it.
And he's so far out that the peripheral vision might still be able to pick him up because he's way out of the other batter's box.
Ogasawara asking for time as Maya and Pastano cannot agree on a sign.
Now, I think he's got to be afraid of throwing that breaking ball. He hung the breaking ball to Inaba the last time around.
You see those shadows, Steve? You can also see those shadows when a ballpark has really bright lights. I used to ask my catchers to sit in the middle and move very, very late, and it wasn't because of the sound as much as everybody thinks, it was the shadows of a night game, and especially in a day game, if the sun is casting the shadow forward,
shadows right there.
You watch, you can see those shadows when the lighting is not perfect, and it's very, very hard. As high up as big league parks are and as strong as the lights are, there will be shadows throughout the day.
Second and third, 2 down, and a 2-2 count on Ogasawara. Japan trying to break the scoreless tie. Reaching for it, he fouls it back into the upper deck.
Now, Earl, we saw the last curveball he threw. He hung it, and Inaba drove it out to the wall. He hasn't gone back to it again. He needs a big out right here. Do you shy away from that pitch now?
Well, the coaching tip I would give him is a good curveball is your best pitch. A better curveball is the hanger. So you have to control your emotions. And remember, this is the young man that cried when he couldn't pitch because of the pitch count. This is a very emotional Cuban young man. He needs to control those emotions. If he wants to throw the breaking ball, stay calm and just throw a nice solid one.
He threw one, and it's a fly ball to left center field. Cespedes back and drops it. He dropped it on the track. And 2 runs will score. It appeared he was there. It appeared he had it. Again, the fog may be an issue here tonight. But an outfielder with a good defensive reputation dropped it, and it cost them a couple of runs.
It really looked like the ball carried much further than you thought. He had to run a long way, Cespedes, as he's going, and his head's moving around quite a bit. It looks like he overran it a little bit, and he got his glove back where it hits off the heel of his glove, right there. He really overran that ball. You want to catch it to where your glove's in front of your body. He's catching it right here. Look, it's in front of his chest and almost over his head. He just overran that ball, and it hits the heel of the glove and kicks away.
It's an error on Cespedes, no RBIs, 2 runs across for Japan here in the top of the 4th inning. And that is going to be all for Maya. They throw 63 pitches, 40 of them strikes. They're sailing along until this inning. The runs unearned. Cespedes catches that ball and the inning is over. A very costly mistake for Cuba. Maya is out. We'll set the new pitcher for you when we come back. A potentially devastating play for Cuba here in the 4th. 2 runs across here in the top of the 4th for Japan. As Maya comes out of the game, the Cuban pitcher, the runs unearned. The error by Cespedes, allowing the 2 runs to score with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And the frustration evident for Yunieski Maya, and you can't blame him. This inning should have been over, all.
Well, the first 2 times these teams met, they played very, very shallow. Tonight with the heavy air, they kept looking for that wall he was running. He had a long way to go. He's kind of running on his heels. Look at his heel on his left foot keeps hitting. That will bob your eyes. That ball hits the heel of his glove from running on his heels instead of the balls of his feet.
So a costly mistake by Cespedes. The new pitcher, left-hander Yunieski Gonzalez, comes in now for Cuba. Runner at second, 2 down, and the batter is Kosuke Fukudome of the Chicago Cubs as he takes high ball 1. Fukudome with a fly ball to left field. In his first at bat tonight, he is 4 for 16 in the Classic. Teams have expanded pitching staffs, 12 or 13, so a lot of arms available for both countries here in this elimination game.
Well, Dan, you have to wonder a little bit whether or not Cespedes had some difficulty. You see the fog that's drifted into Petco Park here, and you know, it looked like a misjudgment in my view as to where he thought he was in relation to the ball. He overran it a little bit, and the ball got back to his back shoulder, the one away from the outfield wall, and he got to where he couldn't really move his glove that much. He got restricted, hit off the heel of the glove. 22-year-old outfielder, really his first time on the national team in this sort of competition. So obviously a disappointing play for him.
The 2-0 to Fukudome is a breaking ball for a strike from Gonzalez.
Good looking breaking ball right there. Gonzalez is the other pitcher that was the pitch count controversy. So Eugenio Velez going to the 2 guys early that desperate to pitch in the Monday game after the pitch count issue. That's a good major league breaking ball.
Last season in the Cuban League, Gonzalez started 18 games. He went 15-0 with a 2.28 ERA. He's pitched as a reliever in the Classic. Fastball, and you can see Pistano tried to bring it down into the zone, but to no avail. 3-1. Japan losing to Korea last night, so Korea has advanced. That's why Japan is playing in this elimination game tonight with Cuba. Mexico's already been eliminated in this pool, and Venezuela and the United States have advanced on the other side. Venezuela beating the U.S. tonight to clinch top spot in their pool heading into the semifinals. Upstairs, ball 4. This is an inning that should have been over long ago, and it should be a scoreless game.
You know, when a team has your number, there's always something that happens in the game. You think, oh, there we go again. That's the thing that's going to be the thing that causes us to lose this time around. And you know, the Cuban team needs some individual performance to re-energize them and focus them that they have a chance to compete and continue to battle.
2 on, 2 out, 2 runs across, and here's Kenji Jojima, the catcher, who hit a ground ball to second his first time up. And in a very strong Classic, hitting .444, was ejected from last night's game against South Korea for leaving his bat at home plate and walking back to the dugout. not coming back to pick it up when he was asked to do so by Hunter Wendelstedt, the home plate umpire. Jojima, he didn't like the call. He thought it was low. You can see he's upset, drops the bat, and he leaves it there. Walks back to the dugout, and Wendelstedt 2 or 3 times said, come back and get it, come back and get it. Jojima says he did not hear the umpire and says he didn't know he'd even been ejected from the game until he got back into the dugout.
He also said that could only happen on a 3-2 pitch, because if it was a ball like he thought, you would drop your bat and go to first, and then when he heard the strike call, he was upset and just turned and forgot about the bat.
You know, I think Hunter Wendelstedt's a pretty good umpire, but you don't kick a guy out in the World Baseball Classic for leaving his bat at home plate. You just don't. I mean, come on. It's not like he was showing him up. I mean, he left his bat at home plate. What arguing and what's cursing?
You heard the cursing not up here?
No, you don't.
You got good ears.
No, you don't throw him out for that.
Here's what Kenji Jojima said. I thought the ball was low as a catcher. I didn't think it would be called a strike, so I took it. I'm not upset about the call, but the ejection is regrettable. I wasn't trying to show up the umpire. And how about this next line? I really have to reflect on my behavior because it created a misunderstanding and removed the starting catcher from the field. I mean, Kenji Jojima taking ownership of the situation, even if Hunter Wendelstedt needs to share some of the blame in that situation. I mean, that's a credit to Jojima to say something like that. And now Pistano is out to the mound. He and Gonzalez, the pitcher, are going to talk it over. I don't know if they think that some signs are being relayed from Ogasawara out at second base.
Now, you know what? Having my catcher and pitcher arguing on the mound a little bit, I personally don't like it. I mean, it's getting them out of in my view, without the blinders on. It's one thing to motivate them, energize them. And I don't know what you think. I mean, you want to argue with them?
No, I don't think I want to argue with them at all. And I would be a little upset with my catcher. I don't mind him coming out and yelling at you in encouragement, but let's not start arguing about what we're doing.
I wouldn't like it, but Pistano scares me, so I really wouldn't say anything about it. I just wouldn't like it.
I think the only guy who doesn't scare from Pistano is Lazo, one of the pitchers we saw a couple of nights ago. He was almost dismissive of Pistano. Just wanted him to stop talking so he could start pitching again. But there's some tension right now. Again, Cuba is used to winning international tournaments, and if not winning, at least playing for the championship. The loser of this game is not even making it to the semifinals,
which is huge news when it comes to Cuba.
It's a block.
Yep. And it was called runners advance.
We're seeing all kinds of signs of tension and anxiety that we've seen when Cuba plays Japan before. Their discipline at the plate is not there. They're missing the fly ball in center field. They're arguing between pitcher and catcher, and now a balk that they're not on the same page. Maybe the argument was about pitch selection. He's assuming that he's going to get one sign, and Pistano is still enforcing his will and saying, no, we're throwing this.
So 2 in scoring position now as Jojima pops it up for Oliveira, the second baseman, to finally end the inning. But a costly error by the second baseman, or center fielder rather, Yenis Cespedes, allows 2 runs to score, and Japan has the lead going to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning here in San Diego. Japan now has a 2-0 lead over Cuba. The tension mounting, it would appear, for Cuba. Words exchanged between the pitcher Gonzalez and the catcher Pistano as they came off the field. There were words exchanged on the mound and again as they came off the field. Yulieski Gurriel leads off the bottom of the 4th for Cuba. The 3-4-5 hitters in their lineup coming up here in the fog in San Diego. This is a team meeting. This is something that Cuba does a lot, but Pistano, I mean, he just won't stop talking, as the Lourdes Gurriel, I believe that was, one of the coaches for Cuba, the father of the batter at the plate right now, Yulieski Gurriel, was kind of chairing the meeting. Pistano is a volatile guy. We saw that in 06, and we're seeing it again here in 09.
Well, Lourdes Gurriel is the hitting coach for the team. He wants to talk hitting with the guys coming off the field, and Pistano's still getting frustrated and angry about different things. And they're actually, see Michel Enriquez holding Lourdes Gurriel away from Pistano right there.
Now, would you surmise this was over arguing oral about the pitches between Gonzalez, the reliever, and Pistano, and eventually the balk?
Yeah, and I think it's definitely that kind of thing, and I think that there's just so much tension there that they can't see through the blood in their eyes right now. They want to beat Japan so bad because of the elimination game and their history, and they feel it.
Well, 2 big outs here in the 4th inning. Gurriel and Cepeda, probably the two best hitters that Cuba has, retired quickly on ground balls by Iwakuma, who's got 10 groundouts in his first 11 outs. Now here's Yenis Cespedes, and you talk about a guy looking for redemption. We talk about major league players here in the United States looking to redeem themselves after making an error. I mean, this is a young man playing for Cuba. The pressure, as we all know, is immense, given the success and given the circumstances for this team to do well. Dropped a fly ball in deep left center, scoring 2 runs in the top of the 4th.
It's his first time on the national team. And here's the thing, when you're going to add young players to your team, whether it's international play, whether it's major league teams, young players are going to make mistakes sometimes, and you're going to have to learn to live and grow with it. Just it seems like it's a little bit more dire to make mistakes for the Cuban national team.
2 balls, no strikes. Conversation continues with mediation, with some bystanders.
Security.
Yeah. Looked good. Called high by Joe West on the breaking ball. 3-0.
You know what? The fact that this young guy made an error out there and now has taken pitches, it shows some maturity.
Shows a lot of maturity.
Yeah.
First 3-ball count that Iwakuma has gone to in this game. And he walks him. Let's take another look at the pivotal play of this game so far. The drop fly ball by Cespedes.
Playing shallow, taking away the small ball, but the ball's hit very well. And a good curveball from Maya, running a long way on his heels. Overruns the ball, as Steve said. And you see how the glove kind of gets tied up with the shoulder, hits off the heel, and that is the ball game to this point.
Draws the 2-out walk here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cuba trailing 2-0. The loser is out. The winner goes to the semifinals in Los Angeles, along with Venezuela, the United States, and South Korea. Here's Alfredo Despeña, the right fielder, 0 for 1. Breaking ball for a strike.
Despeña back in the lineup after being out of the lineup in the Monday game. He's more of a power bat, a guy that can a little bigger swing, can swing and miss a little bit. 24 home runs last year. But in a situation with 2 outs, a man on first, you want to try to hit one in the gap and see if you can't score a run.
3 for 14 with a home run so far in the Classic. Way outside, and Jojima bluffs the throw down to first.
A contrast in the defense. Japan playing so deep. I know it's 2 outs and a man on first. You want no doubles, but they've been playing deep even in this pitcher's park and keeping the ball in front of them with Team Cuba on offense. Marine layer, big ballpark.
Right center field off the end of the bat. It drops for a base hit. Rounding second, Cespedes on his way to third and in there ahead of the throw. Runners on the corners for Cuba with 2 down.
If you reverse the defenses and the offensive hits, and you have the Cuban player hit the ball, and then you have the Japanese player hit the other way, the defensive shallow, deep, you got outs. This one, we get a hit. It's off the end of the bat with the full swing. It falls in because of the deep outfield. A little bit fooled. Nice extension on the swing to make a piece of it. And you see how deep he is. He's out there about 30 feet from the warning track.
Yeah, normal depth. He runs in, catches the ball at the end of the inning.
Easy.
Now, we've seen both Japan and Korea's outfielders play very deep here at Petco Park.
So first and third, 2 down. Cuba trying to answer back after the 2 runs for Japan in the top of the 4th. And the batter will be the first baseman, Leslie Anderson, who had a double deep into the right field corner in his previous at bat tonight. See, just a step behind the bag at third is Murata. Holding on the runner at first is Ogasawara. Infielders play Anderson slightly to pull. Outfielders ever so slightly to pull. It's the first jam that Iwakuma's been in all night.
Anderson, a contact hitter, hit .398 in his season last year. Percentage points behind Yolandi Gerlabo, who's with the team but not active on the roster. Went into the final game hitting .400.
It's interesting how they, we'll get to it in a moment, but even the cheering of the two countries is so different. You can close your eyes and tell which country's fans are cheering, and it was the Cuban fans cheering before the pitch was delivered, and then the Thundersticks took over after the swing and a miss. A Caribbean flavor to the cheering right now, and if something good happens here for Japan, it'll be all about the Thundersticks.
Well, that breaking ball Iwakuma just threw was an outstanding breaking ball with a man on first, because you want a ball that they swing and miss at. You don't want one that they can hit a ground ball to the right side and you end up giving up a run because of that hole's open. So when you throw that breaking ball in that situation that could cost you a run, it's a swing and miss breaking ball, not a strike breaking ball low and into a lefty. Nice fork ball right there, about 87 miles an hour, maybe like a split finger fastball. You go the breaking ball down and in, and then you come back with one that's on the corner and dips like that. Jojima have trouble even handling it in the glove, with this glove darting down.
A big moment here for Anderson and Cuba, trailing 2-0, bottom of the fourth. Cespedes at third, Despaigne at first. And the 1-2 up and in with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
So this guy really knows how to pitch. I mean, that breaking ball inside, then a fork going the other way, and then he says, you know what, let me go up high here, back him off the plate. He can go so many different ways right now with a pitch here to be able to get him. And he's certainly in his head coming up and in.
To the credit of Anderson, no scare out to the mound. He knew what the deal was, and he understands it's part of the game, and right back to business with a 2-2 count. And the pitch.
Great piece of hitting right there. To get knocked down the way he did, and then for him to throw that down and away fork ball. That ball had good bite. It's outstanding late movement pitch, but look at the front shoulder. He stayed in there just long enough. The speed got him out front, but he did not bail with the front shoulder and the head. He stayed in there a long time. You see how far out in front he hit that ball? It was a speed that almost fooled him, not being scared from the knockdown pitch.
First and third, 2 down. Again, the 2-2 pitch, and another foul off. Good battle here between Anderson and Iwakuma.
Well, Anderson is almost challenging him right now with his stance. He creeped closer to the plate right there, saying, you know what? I don't think you can throw a fastball in for a strike and beat me. If you come in, it's going to be a ball. I'm looking for the ball away. He's creeping out over the plate.
I'll tell you what, though, he set himself up for that slider on the inside corner, then breaks in again where he sees fastball and then doesn't react to the slider, and he just can't catch up to it. That pitch that he got to strike on earlier.
Exactly.
Easily the hardest that Iwakuma has had to work in any inning tonight.
It just shows you that when you're pitching well and you're locating your pitches, you have so many weapons then to go to try and get a hitter out, because we can see all three of the pitches, the fastball in, the slider in, the changeup away, that all could get him out if he executes it.
Got him. Swing and a miss with the ball in the dirt to end the inning. As Cuba leaves 2 men on, Japan continues to lead 2-0. Keep up with the 2009 World Baseball Classic at the latest news, live stats, find tickets, buy official gear, and watch live all in one place. WorldBaseballClassic.com. Don't miss a moment. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Steve Phillips, Orestes Destrada. An elimination game between Japan and Cuba. The winner going on to the semifinals in Los Angeles. The loser is out. 2 unearned runs in the top of the 4th inning for Japan on a dropped fly ball in deep left center by Yenis Cespedes. The pitcher now Yulieski Gonzalez, the left-handed reliever for Cuba. The batter Akinori Iwamura for Team Japan. Iwamura with an infield hit his first time up. And he's 4 for 16 in the WBC. He was the number 9 hitter in the Japanese lineup. The 4 Japanese players in the lineup tonight who play in the majors are hitting first. That's Ichiro. And then 7, 8, 9. And that's the same lineup we saw last night. So that, in the eyes of the Japanese team, they're saying, hey, our best hitters are not guys who currently play in the major leagues. It's guys like Murata and Ogasawara who hit in the middle of the lineup.
That's pretty good depth to a lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you'd think that if the guys are over the major leagues performing very well and other guys are in front of them. They've not been able to drive the ball, though.
It'll say even more if they go on and face the USA and beat them.
Ball 4, Uemura aboard with a leadoff walk. Well, the team in this pool that has already moved on to the semifinals, South Korea. And after their win over last night against Japan, they planted a Korean flag on the pitcher's mound here at Petco Park to celebrate and moving on to the semifinals. South Korea, the reigning Olympic champions, and they have advanced along with Venezuela and the United States. Now, between Korea, Japan, and Cuba, anybody could still win this pool because the winner tonight will play Korea tomorrow to see who's the winner of the pool. Venezuela beat the United States tonight, so they are the winners of Pool 2, and they'll play the runner-up in this pool.
You might see some action here with Ichiro 0 for 11 and only 1 ball out of the infield. Try and play a little small ball.
Caught by a diving Gurriel. Throw back to first, not in time. It looked like Rodriguez, the umpire there, was about to call him out, and then halfway through changed his mind and said safe.
We talked about Yulieski Gurriel and his athleticism, his reactions, his instincts to play the game. Ichiro pops it up. Not only does he make the catch, but he says, I'm going to get up quickly and see if I can't try to get the double play at first base, making sure of the catch. And then from his knees, being able to come up with it and make the throw to first to almost get Uemura.
He's athletic enough to play shortstop. He loves to play third. That's his first position. The other position he plays on a regular basis is second base, where we've seen him.
He looks like Derek Jeter to me. I mean, a little bit of facial expressions, the mannerisms.
The posture when he's in between pitches.
So in Japan, they continue to get nothing out of Ichiro here in this round. He is now 0 for 12.
Got to tell you, horrible effort on a sacrifice bunt, bunting it to the wrong place, bunting a pitch that's above his hands. I mean, the entire effort was a bad effort for a sacrifice bunt for a guy of his ability.
You can see how it's grinding away at him. He was fiercely proud, very involved emotionally in the WBC, especially in the games between Japan and Korea.
The throw going over, and Anderson stretching for it. Just barely getting his hand back in. Good stretch by Anderson. That hurts, though.
Yeah, that hurts you just watching.
I shifted my seat up here.
Yeah. Steve just pulled his groin. There's the 1-0. No, first another throw to first. As they keep an eye on Uemura. He's got decent speed. Not the ideal pitch that Ichiro was looking for when he was trying to execute the bunt.
I thought Gonzalez was actually throwing kind of a wild pitch. Ichiro wanted to bunt but tried to get out of the way, and the bat just kind of got in the way of the ball. Kind of like when you get a foul tip and you didn't mean to swing. Fastball sacrifice. Now it's kind of up and in. He's thinking about, should I pull back? You see, trying to take the bat back to deaden it if he decides to bunt, and then he's going to give up on the bunt, and this just doesn't get it out of the way in time. He's actually surprised that the ball made contact with the bat, because I don't think he was attempting to bunt it at that point mentally, but physically he forgot to remove the bat.
Doesn't have a hit in his last 3 games. Doesn't have a hit here in the second round. 0 for 12.
And the other reason it's amazing is because he's such a great hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is the expectations are so high because he's likely to end up with over 4,000 professional base hits in his career. Clearly going to end up with over 3,000 in the United States. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Over 1,800 right now.
When you look at Ichiro's candidacy for the Hall of Fame, in your minds, do you include what he accomplished in Japan?
I don't think you do, but I don't think you need to. I think he's going to end up with over 3,000 hits here in the States. I mean, you know, he's at 1,800 right now. Look at his age. He's got, you know, averaging over 200. He's had over 200 hits in all 8 seasons here.
He's 35, so you think 42, 43. It's going to be close to 3,000.
Only 2 players in history have had 200 hits and scored 100 runs in 8 consecutive seasons. Lou Gehrig and Ichiro, the first Japanese-born position player to play in the majors, has proven, of course, that players from Japan can come over and have a tremendous amount of success. Rookie of the Year, MVP, every year an All-Star, every year a Gold Glove winner. major league record 262 hits in one season.
You take his Japan hits and U.S. hits. He's over 3,000 right now, 3,083 hits.
You think he's going by Pete Rose?
I think he's got a real chance to have more hits than Pete Rose ended up with. I really do. I mean, you know, speed's a part of his game, and speed's not diminishing. He's such a great contact hitter, and he doesn't walk a lot, so he tends to put the ball in play, which I think leads to getting more hits during the course of the season.
Runner at first, one down, 2-1 the count on Nakajima. High, ball 3. Pistano says, get it down. And Gonzalez says, you get back behind the plate. Enough of you already. Where's Lazo? Lazo would put an end to this in a heartbeat.
Lazo just started laughing at Pistano.
How tough is it, Oral, when the pitcher and catcher just aren't really liking each other right now?
Well, they're just not on the same page. You almost want to execute, not to do well for yourself or the team, just to prove to him you're right.
Full count.
The closest thing I saw to that was, I guess, Matt Garza and Johnny Navarro last year, kind of getting into it on the mound a little bit. And then back in the dugout. But the way that the Cuban dugout reacted, it's not the first time there's been a Pistano issue. I mean, you know, they all reacted, kind of, some rolled their eyes, some kind of shook their heads. But at some point, it does get frustrating.
Let's go down to Orestes Destrada for more.
Well, I will say, being a Cuban, that we tend to be argumentative, loud and boisterous, and on and off the field. So this isn't a rarity right here.
Fouled off again. That's Orestes is boisterous, huh?
Yes.
He's a good boisterous.
No, in a good way.
Yeah, great boisterous.
You want him to come to your party. It's going to be a good party.
Yes. Pistano's got a running dialogue going with Joe West now behind the plate as well.
Well, he's going to have to do some listening in that conversation with Joe.
And now Pistano has asked for the on-deck hitter for Japan, Aoki, to move further away from behind the plate over toward the dugout, saying he was too close maybe to the line of sight of the pitcher. Uemura the lead at first, 2-0 Japan, top of the 5th. They still can't get together.
I think Cub fans would remember Zambrano and Michael Barrett.
Yes. Yeah.
That was maybe the latest, also other one.
Well, Zambrano's boisterous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to first, runner back.
You know, I would think, well, as a pitcher, you want rhythm. You want energy and rhythm. And the way Pistano does it, coming out from behind the plate all the time, to me, takes away from the pitcher's rhythm.
You want to break bad rhythm, but if somebody is pitching well, you leave them alone. You don't need to enter into the conversation which the pitcher is having with himself.
Gonzalez on in relief an inning ago, struggling to throw strikes. Another throw to first. Six throws over to first against a guy who's really got decent speed. Not much better than that in Uemura, but they're looking for him to be on the move on this full count pitch.
I would think you should be.
Three-two, runner going, poked foul down the right side.
When you're running in this situation as the first base runner and left-handed pitcher, you are not going to get picked off. It is a make sure he goes home, then run. So it's more of a hit and run, but it's more of a run and hit. And you wait. You do not get picked off here. You just want to be started when the ball is almost like a quarter of the way to home plate.
Two runs in the top of the 4th for Japan, trying to get something going here in the top of the 5th. They're out hitting Cuba 4-3. Runner is going, and it's poked foul again.
Gonzalez had a hard time getting his breaking ball over. So 3-2 count. He's going to the fastball. He doesn't have the confidence to throw the breaking pitch at all because he keeps sweeping it out of the zone.
The Spania in right is really, really shallow. And I know he's late on these balls, but he's getting the barrel of the bat on it. Backing him up to pick up a thunder stick right now, but we'll see where he comes in to play defense.
Oh, I thought he heard you and said, I'm going to play a lot deeper right now. We're going to the wall.
Upcoming the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Nakajima continues to foul off the offerings of Gonzalez.
A big gap in right center field, too. Spania real close to the right field line.
There goes the runner again, and it's inside, ball 4. Second walk given up in the inning by Gonzalez, and a threat on now for Japan. The first and second one out, and Gonzalez is going to get a visit. And Gonzalez is going to get taken out of the game. Two on, one out. A new pitcher coming in for Cuba. Japan looking to extend its lead here in the 5th. The many faces and moods of Ariel Pastano, among others here for Cuba. A demonstrative team, and Gonzalez and Pastano, pitcher to catcher, arguing during the inning, on their way off the field, during the team meeting, in the dugout, probably down the tunnel and up into the clubhouse as well. A lot of tension for Team Cuba. The loser tonight is eliminated. Japan has the lead in the middle innings of this game. Gonzalez couldn't throw strikes. He is out of the game. First and second, one out. Don't forget, the World Baseball Classic continues on ESPN tomorrow night. The winner of this game will take on South Korea for seeding purposes heading into the semifinals. 9 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Here is right-hander Ismael Jimenez, making his 4th appearance of the World Baseball Classic, 1-0. He's given up 2 earned runs in 5 of the 3rd innings. He's 25 years of age. And really, this is the biggest international stage that Jimenez has been on. Kind of a transition time for this Cuban team. Some of the familiar holdovers from prior Olympics and the first WBC, but a lot of fresh faces as well have made their national team debuts here in this tournament. First and second, one out, and the batter is Norichika Aoki, who has a couple of base hits already. Curveball for a strike. You can see a very productive classic for Aoki, the left fielder.
Really surprising to me with Team Cuba's defense right now. Most of the Japanese left-handed hitters have been hitting the ball to left field and in a shallow way. They've shifted still over to right field like this is a right-handed hitter and playing shallow in right and deep in left. And it's opposite with these Japanese hitters. They haven't switched over from the last right-handed hitter to this left-handed hitter.
The middle, a base hit. Iwamura around third. Cespedes with a strong arm. The throw just up the line, and the run scores to make it 3-0.
These are the type of hits that the Team Japan got in Game 1 against Cuba. They just try and put the ball in play. A breaking ball, you stay on it. You're either going opposite field, but the speed of it makes you hit it up the middle. If you're in the batting cage, you just hit the back wall of it, and that's the way you want to work on hitting the breaking ball. Perfect execution, and with the dew here and the marine layer, the wet grass makes it slow getting to the outfielders, and so it's a lot easier to score, even though that's a shallow base hit to center.
Terrific slide there, but home plate by Iwamura.
Strong, accurate throw.
Center fielder got it over the mound just on the third base side of the plate, though. Another run for Japan, leading 3-0. They beat Cuba 6-0 on Sunday. And they beat him in the championship game in 2006. Here is Inaba, a ground out and a double. Aoki has 3 hits in this game. And he became the first player since Ichiro to get 200 hits in Japan in the Japanese league season, which again is shorter than a major league season. 200 hits Aoki in 144 games in 2005. Top foul.
Well, one thing Aoki does is he tends not to take the Ichiro sort of swing where he's kind of falling off the plate. Aoki stays in a little bit better. Naba does as well. More drive to the ball. They have the leg kick, but they don't spin out as they're at the point of making contact.
Ichiro struggling again tonight, 0 for 3, but getting picked up by Aoki and other teammates. Terrific pitching job so far by Hisashi Iwakuma for Japan. Iwakuma's been in the dugout forever. The Cuban team plays, I would think, at the slowest pace of any of the teams in this tournament. I think Korea and Japan probably play the game more crisply than anybody else. The Cubans are never in a hurry. Lots of throws to bases, lots of talking, lots of walking around. Pistano doing his thing. And it's a real contrast in style to watch a Cuban game and then, say, a Japan-Korea game.
I think it's the emotion. It's the emotion causes them to kind of move around and not just play. We'll talk about the leg kicks for many of the Japanese hitters. Sadaharu O sort of a style. You see the leg kick here, and what you want to do is get that foot down at the point of recognition so you're able to make the swing on it. Stays behind the ball very well right there. That's a pronounced leg kick right there. That's a power leg kick. I think that's going to leg kick 800 home run.
A swing and a miss, and Inaba is gone for the second out. Isn't it harder to time the pitch, though, when that one leg is up in the air between fastball and breaking ball?
You want to get the foot down. It's not a problem if you get the foot down too early. It's a problem if you get the foot down too late. So you got to start it early and get the foot down. And if the fastball's on you, that's fine. But as long as you keep your hands back and you stay behind that front leg and you start leaking out over the front leg and open up, then you're in trouble.
It's a timing and loading device, just like when you wiggle your hands. You wiggle your hands and you can kind of move the bat to load your upper body and your shoulders, and you can do something with your legs to load the lower body, and they do it with an accentuated leg kick to load that front hip and get the foot down.
You can see the Cuban coaching staff now moving Cespedes deeper in center field as Murata comes up. He's a big home run guy, 46 last year in Japan to lead the league. 0 for 2 tonight.
It's interesting. They gave Cespedes the sign for no doubles. When you tap the top of your head, it's telling the outfield there's nothing over your head. But he's not playing no doubles. Now he's more shallow. He's not going to hit the ball. If it's hit over his head, it's going to land in front of the wall. He should be deeper if they want no doubles. I personally wouldn't play no doubles right here. They've got to try to throw the runner out the plate.
Jimenez goes to the rosin bag. A run in for Japan to lead 3-0 here in the top of the 5th. Elimination game here in San Diego. 2-0 breaking ball for a strike.
1-1 pitch right here. Nice little break, and ball catches the corner. Starts out like it's down the middle, and right there on the black. Maybe a little elevated. The thing about baseball, the results say so much about how you analyze it.
High fly ball to left field, up into the far. Cepeda back, settling underneath it, makes the catch. And the inning is over. But Japan has scored another run on the third hit of the night by Aoki. 3-0, they lead. Bottom 5, San Diego. Japan 3, Cuba 0. The World Baseball Classic on ESPN. An elimination game between these two countries. Can beat Cuba to win the 2006 World Baseball Classic in the championship game and trying to knock them out here in round 2. And you're looking at the big story in this game. Hisashi Iwakuma, the starting pitcher for Japan. 4 shutout innings, 3 hits allowed, a low pitch count. Although they had to labor a bit in the 4th inning through 17 pitches in the 4th, which is 45 through 4. He faces Ariel Pistano, the number 8 hitter and the catcher for Cuba. Iwakuma impressive in a loss to Korea in the first round. And equally, if not more impressive here in this game against Cuba, which came into this game with the best offensive numbers of any country in the Classic.
Well, on a short look of the three pitchers, Yu Darvish, Daisuke Matsuzaka, and this young man, I take this guy.
And we're talking about a guy in Matsuzaka, a proven winner of the majors, and he's pitched better in this tournament than he's pitched in the majors at times. And Darvish is thought to be the brightest young pitcher in Japan. Curveball for strike 1 and 2. Why do you take this guy?
Just what he has shown as far as command, and looking at the record of 201 innings, 36 walks, and it's not just general stuff. He has, for me, 3 above-average big league pitches. Sometimes not because of the velocity on the fastball, but the command he has shown of it, and then the 2 breaking balls. The split finger is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the thing that makes Daisuke Matsuzaka very good is he can throw a lot of different pitches at any time in the count. He doesn't give in, but he doesn't have a big put-away pitch. This kid's got the put-away pitch either with the slider or his forkball to split. That's a phenomenal pitch, and when you need a strikeout, that's what you need to go to.
And he apparently can field his position pretty well. Oh, got to shake out the hand on that one. 1 down.
Musashi Iwakuma, 4 or 5 pitches. There's the 4-seamer. There's the 2-seamer. The slider. Here comes the curveball. And then the devastating forkball. It's one thing to have them. It's another thing to command them. And then they're exceptional. Makes you lights out.
He has been the picture of poise and calm out on the mound as well. He's retired the first batter in every inning, all 5, so he hasn't made himself more trouble. The only tough inning for him was last inning, a 2-out walk and then a base hit to move the runner to third, but a big strikeout to end the inning. Weekly hit down to first. Here he goes over to cover the bag, and there plenty of time for the second out.
6'3", 169 pounds. He is thin and athletic. Very whippy out there in the mound. Just seeing him smile right there. This is a big elimination game. He's up 3-0, and he's still relaxed and having a good time.
Getting some great information from Brad Lefton here in the booth tonight, our man who is up on Japanese baseball and Korean baseball. And Brad telling us that Iwakuma's manager in Japan used to call him Bambi because his legs are so long and twiggy.
Is that a technical term, twiggy?
Twiggy.
Yeah. No, twiggy was for his haircut.
6'3", 169, but a 92, 93 mile-an-hour fastball. Great command. Here's Oliveira as Iwakuma paints the black. Bottom of the 5th inning at Petco Park in San Diego. An elimination game of the World Baseball Classic here in round 2. Japan 3, Cuba nothing. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Steve Phillips, and Orestes Destrada. The winner goes on to the semifinals in Los Angeles, along with Venezuela, the United States, and South Korea. The loser is done as Oliveira lines the ball into right field, a base hit. You were never known as Twiggy in your younger years, were you, Steve?
No, not so much. No.
Or Bambi,
no,
by the way.
No.
Here's Enriquez now, the DH. Only 53 pitches, and again in the second round, a pitcher can go as high as 85. So theoretically, Iwakuma could be out there for a couple more innings. And I guess again, theoretically, if Japan were to advance, it depends how they would play that game against Korea tomorrow. How much would it matter to them to win it? Or do they want to save their better pitchers for Los Angeles? I mean, you've got to believe that Matsuzaka and Darvish, if Japan wins, would probably pitch their 2 potential games in Los Angeles.
Well, didn't Korea and Japan play at the end of round 1?
Yes.
And they was a 1-0 loss, and responded to the 14-2 game that Japan mercied them. And Ichiro, after the 1-0 loss, was embarrassed and hated the fact. So I'm not sure between those 2 intense rivalries that it will be taken lightly. I think it'll be a very hard-fought game.
And no starting pitchers are announced, so we generally get the starting pitchers for that night's game at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I think the strategy will ease up.
This is the headline in Japan after the 1-0 loss against Korea. Japan heads to America with humiliation in its heart. Now that's a 1-0 loss to the country that won the gold medal in the Olympics last year. But such is the ferocity of the rivalry between South Korea and Japan. And that game didn't knock them out. They had both already qualified for the second round. He was right, Nakajima, and the inning is over. We are through 5 at Petco, with Japan continuing to lead 3-0. Where Japan leads Cuba 3-0. Top of the 6th inning. The winner going on to LA. The loser is done. We have heard already in this tournament from the great Tony Gwynn, a legendary Padre and a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's go down to the field now. Orestes Estrada standing by with another former great Padre, among other teams, and also a Baseball Hall of Famer in Dave Winfield.
That's right, Dan. You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I've been so fortunate and honored. I had Tony Gwynn. Earlier we had the living legend, Sadahara O. Now another living legend, especially here in San Diego, and Big Dave Winfield, Hall of Famer, former Yankee, former Padre. Dave, you know, this event now in its second go-around, what does it mean to you, and what do you think about this World Baseball Classic as far as for the global environment?
I like it. We're on the right track. Major League Baseball's on the right track. Inclusion, the whole world. You know, so many people look at MLB and they say, we draft 1,500 guys in the U.S. How come 40% people from other places? This is why. You have tremendous talent around the world, and there's a lot of excitement. And we got the semifinals here. This is the second time we've had World Baseball Classic here, and San Diego loves it, and we'll finish up in L.A. next week.
Let me ask you, if you had been playing, I mean, when you were playing, if they had the World Baseball Classic, would you represent Team USA? Would be something that you would think and look forward to do?
You know I would. You know, you being a teammate of mine, you know how I love this game and would go hard all the time. I would love to participate in something like this because it brings you national pride and you see a lot of other people. It's good competition. It's good for the entire sport. I love it.
And then we're blessed here in the San Diego bracket with all these great global teams. I mean, from Cuba, from Japan, Korea. Who has impressed you the most as far as a team or a player?
Well, every team has something that I really admire. You know, I watched the game last night. There were about 11 hits. They were all singles, but everybody executed well. They played good defense. They laid down the bunts. They made the plays, and people hustle. So, but when you look at it, I mean, you look at Japan, once again, they got Daisuke, they have Ichiro, who started a little slow, but he's going to get 200 hits when the season starts. Doesn't matter that he's 35. He looks the same as when he came over to the U.S. So they all have something that's impressive, even though you don't know their names.
There's something here that we don't really talk about with reference to these teams here, but has been bandied about and been an issue now for a little while, the steroid issue. Something that you really didn't have to live through as a player. But your thoughts on that and what's going on in the climate of baseball right now with reference to steroids?
Glad baseball's cleaning it up. Where, you know, whatever, there might have been 10, 20, 30% of the guys doing something illegal or improper, but with the stringent testing policies in place, that's down to under 1%. And we tell guys in spring training, I guess got back from there, talked to a whole lot of guys, keeping them on the right track. And when you always talk about part of the game, don't use the illegal drug because we'll bust you and you'll be out of this game. So don't do it. And we still got a few people that we have to clean up. You know, their legacy has been tarnished, their image, their career. They still might have made millions because they went down that road, but it's not the right way to go. So anybody with an earshot, don't do the drugs to try to get here or to play in Major League Baseball.
Winnie, you yourself and some other greats are ambassadors of the game. They'll transcend the game internationally. Your thoughts on your responsibility and some of the things that you might be involved in right now with the Dave Winfield Foundation, et cetera.
Well, we're working with the Padres, executive vice president, senior advisor. We work on a lot of different projects. You know, you saw last year with the Negro Leagues where Major League Baseball drafted all the, you know, the Negro League players and stuff. I had a lot to do with that. When you're in town here, we have a program called Friar Fit, where we're trying to get the entire city of San Diego healthy and fit and on the right track. And then in this day and age where the economy is a little messed up, we have a lot of value lineup, 2 for 1 or 5 for 5, we call it. You can buy 5 items of food for $5. So we're interested in bringing the families, make it family friendly, affordable. This is a good place to be.
Winnie, Hall of Famer on and off the field, man. Good to see you. There you go, Dave Winfield from the San Diego Padres.
All right, Orestes, thank you very much. His number retired here at Petco Park. Not only drafted by Major League Baseball, drafted by the NFL and the NBA as well. A great all-round athlete, chose baseball. You want to talk about a guy who, even when he made outs, hit the ball hard. He hit some screamers. Was a member of the 1992 World Series champion Toronto Blue Jays. Gold gloves, great arm power, over 3,000 hits. Being from Toronto, guys, he got to Toronto in 1992. He was only there 1 year. He only played in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, in 1 year. Paul Molitor came in 93. That was a team with Joe Carter and John Olerud and Devon White and Roberto Alomar. I mean, some really established stars. He owned the town within 2 weeks of getting to Toronto. If he wanted the fans to cheer, they cheered. If other people said, hey, you got to cheer louder, they'd get on him. But whatever Dave Winfield asked and demanded of himself, his teammates, and the fans, they responded. And I think he was 40 years old when they won the World Series, but he was a huge part of it.
There were two guys that I was intimidated by when they came up to the plate. Dave Winfield and Andre Dawson. When I threw a fastball low and away, which is my bread and butter, I was so afraid that that ball was coming back up the middle.
Yeah, well, he was about 6'6", and he could reach it.
Oh,
yes,
he could reach it.
He could hit it hard.
I mean, he's a real presence.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why he owns the clubhouse. His guys look up to him, and he was such a great athlete. I mean, you look at the size he has and what, I mean, NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball, it's remarkable.
Yep.
As big as he was, he moved like a 6-footer. That's how coordinated he looked. And when he ran, you didn't really see his size. You just saw his athleticism.
Fukudome drives the ball to left center field, and coming over to make the catch is Cepeda for the second out. And for both Dave Winfield and Tony Gwynn still to have such a big presence here in San Diego and with the Padre organization is terrific. Two legendary players. Gwynn his entire career with San Diego. Padre with San Diego. Winfield many years with San Diego, also known as a New York Yankee, among other things. 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 6th. Japan 3, Cuba nothing. The loser is eliminated. The winner goes on to Los Angeles for the semifinals. Kenji Jojima 0 for 2. Ismael Jimenez, the third pitcher of the night, currently on the mound for Cuba. And a pop-up that will get back out of play. The fog has been pretty consistent over the course of the night. And again, only Cespedes and the folks down in the field know if that had an impact on the dropped ball back in the 4th inning in deep left center that allowed 2 runs to score. There may be something for us up here to kind of look at it and look at the lights and look at the field. It may have cleared a little bit now, actually, compared to maybe an hour ago, but it's got to be something altogether different when that baseball goes into the fog to track it coming back down out of it. And for Iwakuma, every ball's been hit on the ground. Fog hasn't been a problem for the Japanese fielders, but this is the big play of the game so far.
You know, you look back at it. Remember, they held up the runner at third base, and Cespedes just overran the ball. He couldn't move his arm the way he wanted to be able to reach it. Hits off the heel of the glove, and a mistake by the third base coach to hold the runner was countered by a mistake in the outfield, and Japan got the lead.
2-2. And they added another run in the 5th inning. Their bullpen is rested. Their starting pitcher has really kept his pitch count down, so he can go another inning or 2.
Well, guys, the other thing to remember about the semifinals and finals of the World Baseball Classic is that it becomes more about starting pitching, because your starter gets up to 100 pitches. You know, when you're talking about 70 pitches and then 85 pitches for the starter, the bullpen is very critical. Now that the starting pitcher can go 100 pitches, the starting pitcher becomes more important than the bullpen.
And you're looking at Peavy and Oswalt for Team USA.
They'll be ready.
I mean, really, you start to look. You need to be too deep in your rotation. You talk about Matsuzaka and Darvish if Japan's able to get in. We saw Ryu and how good he is for Korea and Bong and how well he threw. 2 quality left-handers. Venezuela with Felix Hernandez and whether they go with Galarraga or not in rotation.
Hanging breaking ball fouled back.
But even though the pitch count is, higher, you still think it's going to be more of a bullpen game too, don't you? Because of the matchups, and it's such a short series, and it's do or die, and it's still going to be like an elimination game where it's all hands on deck.
I just think a starter who's locked in can control a game.
Well, I think you're right.
Where now a starter that's locked in you're lucky to get 5 innings out of them, 6 innings out of them, and you really, you're not able to shorten the game with a quality starting pitcher. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the semis and finals end up.
Well, the Japanese hitters continuing to do a great job of fouling off 2-strike pitches. They are tough outs, and they have frustrated the Cuban pitchers, not getting put away easily at all. There has only been 1 strikeout by a Japanese hitter in this game. Down the right side, and this ball is going to get back out of play. Japanese hitters have hit 13 2-strike foul balls already in this game. Marty Aronoff supplying the information.
That's pretty good stuff right there. But that in my view, watching the Cuban pitchers compared to the other teams, they don't have the same horses that the other teams have. They don't have the same put away pitches out of the bullpen that Japan and Korea have. Their bullpens have swing and miss stuff.
Grounded to third. Gurriel. And the inning is over. They go 3 up and 3 down. Cuba is trailing 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. They have the heart of their order. Gurriel, Cepeda, and Cespedes due up when we get back. Leads 3-0. Cuba needs to get the offense going. This is a team that has put up the best offensive numbers of any country in the World Baseball Classic. But in this round against Japan, they have faced them twice, Sunday and tonight. And in 14 innings, Cuba has yet to score a run against Japan. This might be their best shot. Gurriel, Cepeda, and Cespedes. Gurriel 1 for 2 as he yanks it foul left side. Against everybody else other than Japan, Cuba does awfully well, but not much of anything against Japan.
Good pitching can beat good hitting.
Cuba definitely known more for the offense, and Japan, like Korea, known more for the pitching and the defense and the fundamentals.
And Iwakuma on the mound has been so efficient. He's averaging 3.8 pitches per batter. He only has 59 pitches to this point in the game, and it's exceptional stuff. He's not a big arm without command. He's a big arm, great movement with command.
Grounded to second. 1 down. Here's what Gurriel is capable of doing. Let's go to the last round into Mexico City. Power the other way. Not only power, broke a window on the van that was driving behind the fence in right center.
Well, they've got insurance.
That's a rental. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. The batter is Frederick Cepeda. Gurriel, maybe the best all-round player that Cuba has. Cepeda has been the best hitter for Cuba, maybe for anybody in this tournament. But tonight, 0 for 2 with a couple of ground balls.
I really noticed the Cuban team swinging a lot of first pitches and swinging at breaking balls on the first pitch. A lot of time hitters will say, I'm going to look fastball. If I don't get it, I'm going to take it. Then maybe they're zone hitting or looking for just something they can drive, but they've been very aggressive early in the count. And Iwakuma has given them strikes, but his strikes, not their strikes.
13 groundouts recorded tonight already by Iwakuma among the 16 outs. 2 strikeouts and a lineout, so not a single out to the outfield. That was a 133-kilometer-an-hour sinker.
It's just unfair
for you metric fans.
Curveball at 77.
So, Steve, ideally, how many kilometers of difference do you want between your fastball and your changeup?
Oh, well.
Come on, big shot.
Red Cougars.
I'd still be pitching if they were measuring my fastball in kilometers.
All of a sudden, it helps to have a Canadian in the group, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
You're still not sold?
No, I'll get a calculator. Marty, help us.
3-1 the count. Down to first. Ogasawara. 2 down. Another out on the ground. And 2 very dangerous hitters retired here in the bottom of the 6th. Now Cespedes, the young man who dropped the fly ball, charged with the air, 2 runs scored. He has been retired trying to bunt his way aboard. Bunted it back to the mound. He's also walked. You can see he's done a good job. Again, a young guy with a ton of talent. You can see the numbers here in the Classic, but the play he is most known for right now is the play that happened earlier tonight.
I'll tell you what, he'll have nightmares about that fly ball for the rest of his life. I still remember pitches that I threw in the '97 World Series of the Cleveland Indians to some of the Marlins. I can still see him in my sleep.
Lines it up the alley in right center field, and it's down, and it's all the way to the fence. Cespedes thinking 3. Boy, that's one of those, we're neutral, but man, you're saying, boy, I hope he gets there. After what happened on the last play, 2 outs, down 3 runs, trying to take third base.
Oh, this kid has so much talent and strength to him. 22 years old. You see they set up away. The ball's kind of out over the plate, just drives and stays inside the ball. Look at the power stroke, drive into the gap, and the stride he has running the bases. It gets to the gap, gets by Ichiro there, but this kid can motor too, man. When he gets going, that's a perfect stride. Hits the base exactly the way you want to, goes in standing up and saying, please somebody get a hit behind me.
He had the poor path and the botched fly ball in center field, but his last 2 at bats since that error have been outstanding. He had a 2-out walk where he could have been aggressive and kind of thrown the at bat away and set a rally up there, but they couldn't capitalize. And here again with 2 outs, a nice solid at bat.
Bullpen is up for Japan. Iwakuma has thrown 67 pitches. The limit is 85 here in the second round, so he's got a ways to go. Here's Alfredo Despena, the right fielder, 1 for 2. From our vantage point, it appears that every single member, especially of the Cuban team, players, coaches, they are all standing up on the steps, leaning over the railing. I don't know if we're able to see through them and get a shot into their dugout, but I don't think there's a single person sitting on that bench. Everybody is up top.
Well, they know how important it is. Let me ask you this, Oral. The Cuban team has had a base runner in all 6 innings, all of them after 2 outs. I mean, one, that's the way to limit a big rally. But why is it? Would it be Iwakuma letting up a little bit?
Well, maybe a little bit, but maybe just by the time they see him and get used to it, and the kind of the pressure's off. The first 2 hitters, when you get them out, they have a lot of pressure on them to kind of set the table, and then the hitter that's out there with 2 out, nobody on, kind of sometimes relaxes a little bit himself and doesn't feel that pressure.
Check swing bouncer up the first baseline. Iwakuma unassisted to end the threat and end the inning. 6 in the books here at Petco Park as Cuba leaves a man on at third, and in this all-important elimination game, Japan continues to lead 3-0. Now time for a pitching summary brought to you by PlayStation's video game MLB 09 The Show, a comparison of the 2 starting pitchers and a clear advantage for Hisashi Iwakuma, who has done an outstanding job for Japan tonight. He has thrown strikes, gotten ahead of the hitters, gotten a lot of ground balls, and again, so important in this kind of a format, Oral, he has kept his pitch count down. You're allowed to throw up to 85 pitches in the second round. He's at only 69 through 6 innings.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, if they could go all the way, he could probably throw a complete game somewhere around 95 pitches, maybe even less. Maybe 92 if he could keep it. He's averaging 3.8 pitches a batter.
Well, he's got 2 strikeouts. The reality is Cuba would have done better if they'd struck out a little bit more, because he would have eaten up more pitches, might be out of the game by now. I mean, he has just been like a surgeon.
Iwamura leads off the 7th for Japan. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th for Japan. The hits are even at 5 apiece. Iwamura, an infield hit, and he's walked and scored. Jimenez remains in the game, the 3rd pitcher of the night for Cuba. Activity in both bullpens. Lots of fresh arms for both teams.
I think one of the problems for Cuba is that sooner or later Ichiro Suzuki is going to get hot. He's going to get on base, he's going to steal a base and start to get things going.
Ball 4, and Iwamura reaches for the 3rd time tonight. And here comes Ichiro. Steve mentioned it's only a matter of time. He's 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 12 in the second round.
may be given a bunt sign here. They might put a hit and run on, trying to just get some action and help him out to find a hole.
Had the bunt on last time, a fastball up and in on him, and he popped it up, and the third baseman Gurriel came in and made a sprawling catch.
Yeah, that didn't work so well, so
no.
maybe they'll try the hit and run. Right?
Cuba trying to see if Ichiro is going to give anything away. Led off the game by grounding out, hit with a runner at first and 2 down in the third, bounced into a fielder's choice, and then popped up the bunt in the 5th.
You know, we talked about the batting order of major leaguers in the Japanese lineup and where they're hitting 1st, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Well, those 4 guys are 1 for 9. The non-major leaguers are 4 for 14 for Team Japan.
Not showing anything as he takes a strike. Even with a bag at third is Gurriel, and just a couple of steps off the line. At first, Anderson is holding on Iwamura. The outfielder's basically straight away on Ichiro. Maybe a bit of a larger gap in right center, but not much. Not even a productive out for Ichiro. Has not even moved a runner here in round 2.
This is what we're used to with Team Cuba when they play. The game slows down when it's on the line. And on defense, they've had the correct pace, it seems to me. But on offense, they haven't slowed the game down as they've gotten dominated. They've actually sped up at the plate.
Is that Iwakuma, though, forcing them to do that by pounding the strike zone?
Well, in both games against Japan, I thought that their discipline and their approach at the plate was completely different than we've seen against other teams. It seems like there's anxiety to try and hit the Japanese pitchers, and the Japanese pitchers have done a great job playing into that. Dice K did a nice job.
Chopper over the head of Anderson and into right field, a base hit. On his way to third is Iwamura, and Ichiro comes up with his first hit of round 2.
And on first base, having to hold the runner. That means the first baseman's closer to home plate. A big hop can get over his head. And sometimes this is the kind of hit that can just get you going. A Baltimore chop in front of the plate, the big hop right over Leslie Anderson's head, beyond the reach of Oliveira. Can't quite get to it. And it's not the kind of base hit you're going to brag about, but it could be the start of a hot streak.
So first and third, nobody out. Japan try to extend the lead, a meeting on the mound right now. Will they go to the pen? The World Baseball Classic continues tomorrow night here on ESPN. The winner of this game against South Korea for seeding purposes heading into the semifinals. 9 Eastern tomorrow. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And the semis are Saturday and Sunday nights on ESPN. The championship game Monday night from Dodger Stadium. Steve will be there along with John Miller and Joe Morgan. Jimenez will stay. Going to be double duty Phillips this year as he will work the Sunday night games along with John and Joe, and then the Monday night games with Oral and myself as well.
And I know you guys asked me to save my best stuff for the Monday nights, but you know I got to share it.
All of your stuff is best.
Steve, I mean,
especially in your eyes.
Let's talk about the game.
Honestly, I mean, you make it too easy sometimes. You know?
It's right there. Put it on a tee.
Yeah. You need to make us work for it once in a while, man.
I am going to be watching Sunday night very carefully to see if the third baseman moves, so we know what pitch is coming.
We'll be TiVoing and rewinding and what did he say?
Studying.
Oral and I'll be on the phone watching the games together.
Oh, it'll be great. We will definitely be texting him during the inning to say, what did you just say?
And you are opening night is in Philadelphia, correct?
Yep.
On April the 5th, I believe it is.
That's right. Atlanta Braves and Phillies.
And then opening day, Monday the 6th, I think we have 5 games on the family of networks. And
I'll be in Anaheim with the Angels and Athletics.
Yeah. Steve and I will be in Cincinnati for, can you still say the traditional baseball home opener? Can you still call it that?
In Cincinnati, they do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Used to be the first game all the time.
Right there with the Skyline Chili. Get it 5-way.
Big opportunity for Japan to extend the lead, and the fly ball to left field. Cepeda back. Makes the catch, tagging at third, Iwamura. Throw comes into second. 4-0 Japan. The pressure continuing to mount on Cuba.
Well, this RBI is another run, but it's another dagger to the heart of Cuba and their emotional health for the rest of this game. When you're facing a pitcher as hot and an offense that keeps chipping away, it just chips away at your spirit.
A pitching change here for Cuba. They are on the ropes, trailing 4-0 in the 7th and facing elimination. Japan has added a run here in the 7th inning, forcing a pitching change. They now lead Cuba 4-0. The loser is eliminated. Here's how it's gone tonight. The big play of the game, 2 on, 2 out, 4th inning. Off the bat of Ogasawara, dropped by Cespedes. A 2-run error. An inning later, a base hit up the middle by Aoki to drive in a run. His 3rd hit of the night. That made it 3-0. They've added a run here in the 7th. Equally as big, if not a bigger part of the story, the pitching and some defense too by Hisashi Iwakuma. 6 efficient shutout innings, throwing only 69 pitches. Left-hander Norberto Gonzalez comes into the game now for Cuba, trying to subdue Norichika Aoki, who is 3 for 3, 3 base hits to center field tonight. Gonzalez, the 4th pitcher of the night for Cuba. A run in this inning, a runner at first and 1 out for Japan.
If Cuba loses this game, we cannot overstate what this means. Since 1961, they've appeared in 50 international tournaments. They won 42 of them, came in 2nd place in 8 of them. They've never finished below 2nd place, and they risk doing that here tonight in their 51st international tournament since 1961.
Now, there's some school of thought that defections have taken a toll. Maybe this team is not as strong. There are others who follow Cuban baseball closely who say this is one of the most powerful teams that Cuba has put together. Is it just, again, it's a short tournament, but is it a case of Japan and Korea being better or playing better here this week?
For me, I don't think the Cuban team is as strong. I think they're being oversold as far as talent. I think we see places where it is with Cepeda. I think Gurriel. I'm not sure. You know, Oliveira at 2nd base is an outstanding player, and especially on the mound, I think we don't see as much dominance.
See, I think it's less about Cuba than it is about the way the game's going internationally.
Right.
Korea and Japan are much better than they were 2 decades ago, than they were 3 decades ago. Baseball's gotten better, and I think that where Cuba lacks their strength is in the depth of the pitching. But it used to be good enough to beat Japan and Korea. So I really do think it's more of a statement about the rest of the world than it is about Cuba.
Swing and a miss by Aoki, and he has gone 2 down.
Aoki's been swinging a hot bat. You make him look this bad. That's a major league breaking ball. That sidearm drop down sweeper. It's not always a bad swing when a Japanese hitter makes it. It's just bad if he doesn't have contact, because they have a tendency to have that kind of bailout, throw the bat at the ball swing.
We talked about, getting back to your conversation, guys, about South Korea. Their professional league only began in 1982, 27 years ago. They won the gold medal in the Olympics last year. That's remarkable progress, really, in a short period of time. Inaba swoops one down to 3rd. Gurriel in on the grass to end the inning. But another run for Japan. Cuba's down to its final 9 outs, trailing 4-0. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Steve Phillips, Orestes, Estrada at Petco Park. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Japan 4 and Cuba nothing. And a pitching change after 6 terrific innings from Iwakuma. Left-hander Toshiya Sugiyuchi comes into the game and now for Japan. Sugiyuchi making his 3rd appearance so far in the World Baseball Classic. He's gone a total of just an inning and 2/3. Has not allowed a run. And Cuba will respond with a pinch hitter. It'll be Rolando Marino, one of the backup catchers, a right-handed batter, coming in to hit for the left-hand hitting Leslie Anderson.
Taguchi on the mound in 1998 threw a no-hitter in the same tournament, high school national tournament, that Daisuke Matsuzaka was very famous for throwing a no-hitter. They are linked. What kind of ability he brings to the table.
Sugiyuchi has pitched in both the 2000 Sydney Olympics, also the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Was the Pacific League MVP back in 2005, and he is a starter in Japan. He led the Pacific League in strikeouts last year with 213. And you'll love this, only 36 walks in 196 innings.
Well, the 2 pitchers they put on the mound, 201 2/3 innings for Iwakuma and 196, and both only had 36 walks.
Talk about the quality of pitching improving in Japan. I mean, I remember back in the 80s and early 90s where I think the thought was they had a lot of junk ball pitchers, a lot of off-speed pitchers. The velocity on the fastball wasn't there. I mean, I got to tell you, when they've thrown some of these arms out of the bullpen, they've got some guys who can light up the radar gun a little bit with some kilometers per hour. I mean,
pushing 150.
Some serious kilometers per hour coming out there, but it has changed. The arm strength has gotten better.
Breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
I think the growth internationally for Korea and Japan, the militaristic societies and those very disciplined societies play very well to baseball. You know, it's repetitions, it's work ethic, and the more that you do it, if your fundamentals are right, your techniques are right, you can improve rapidly. And that's really what I think we've seen with the growth of baseball in Asia.
And where they are thriving is in the fundamentals, both offensively, maybe even more defensively than anything else.
Well, they take infield every single day. You know, Kareem Garcia for Team Mexico plays in Korea. He said, you know, I take 5 minutes of fly balls, become my defense maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. These guys take a half hour, 45 minutes. They work on specific plays, not just general technique.
The 2-2. Breaking ball drops low, a full count.
We talked to the Korean team. They talk about how they study video of Major League Baseball in the States. But what they then do is they then teach it in their own style. And that is repetition, work ethic. You're done working when they tell you you're done working, not when you're done. And if you don't work, the peer pressure is there from the other players.
Swing and a miss. 1 down.
We'll talk about Hisashi Iwakuma was so very good in this game. Well, you take a look, his efficiency, 69 pitches in 6 innings. Hitters were swinging at his pitch early in the count. Out of the zone or on the corners, the breaking ball on the first pitch. I mean, you want to be aggressive, but you want to be aggressive on a hitter's pitch and understanding that the first strike you see is not going to be the best strike that you see. And boy, you talk about efficiency. Only struck out 2, but working ahead, all of the ground ball outs, only walked 1. An outstanding effort.
15 ground ball outs, 2 strikeouts, and a 1-line drive back to the mound. Not a single out was made to the outfield.
He retired the first 2 batters of every inning.
Boy, it's very effective. When you can throw your breaking ball for strike 1 to get ahead in the count, it gives you so many different directions to go after that.
Bottom of the 7th, Japan leading 4-0. The batter is a pinch hitter, Juan Carlos Pedroso, who is up batting for Pistano, the catcher. I think the Cuban fans credit. They're outnumbered here, but they're They have kept up.
They're continuing to make the noise and support.
Well, they want some power. They know Pedroso is the guy with the first to ever get over 200 home runs in the wood bat era in Cuba. So if he gets his pitch, he can drive it.
Catcher, but his specialty is hitting.
And each hitter who comes up now for Cuba comes up with the reality that this could be their final at bat. May not get around to them again. They are running out of outs. 1-2. Pistano now out of the game, lifted for a pinch hitter. A game Sunday and a game tonight, and Cuba has yet to score a run.
That's a Cuban offense that manhandled everybody else.
And looking at the very real possibility of yet another Japan-Korea matchup tomorrow night. Strike 3 called, 2 down. Not a bad arm to bring out of the pen.
Left-hander usually are known for fastballs and changeup, but when you can command the fastball inside to right-handers also, you are going to lock some people up. That is a very tough pitch for left-handers to continue to throw for strikes. For Suguchi, he just painted that one.
And now in all 7 innings, whether it's Iwakuma or Sugiuchi, Japanese pitching has retired the first 2 batters. All 7 innings have begun with 2 outs and nobody on. Another pinch hitter now, Luis Navas, will come up to bat for Eduardo Perret. So 3 consecutive pinch hitters here in the 7th inning for Cuba. To left field. And caught by Aoki to end the inning. 2 strikeouts and a fly ball. 3 outs recorded by Sugiuchi. We are at the end of 7 now in San Diego. And the Japanese pitchers continue to get it done. Top of the 8th inning, 4-0 Japan leading Cuba. An elimination game here with the World Baseball Classic. The loser is out. The winner goes to Los Angeles for the semifinals. All 3 pinch hitters will stay in the game as Navas stays in at shortstop. Pedroso stays in at first base, and Mourinho is the new catcher. Gonzalez remains on the mound. Roberto Gonzalez for Cuba as Shuichi Murata leads off the 8th inning. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Japan. No runs, 5 hits, and 1 pivotal error for Cuba. That allowed 2 runs to score for Japan back in the 4th inning. I mean, pure and simple, Japan has played better. Their starting pitcher was sensational, got a lot of ground outs, got the first 2 outs in every inning. Japan has executed better. They have fielded their positions cleanly. Good off-speed pitch, 1-2. And he strikes him out for the first out here in the 8th inning. Let's go down to Orestes Estrada down at field level. Oh.
Well, you know, this is going to be hopefully a relief game for Cuba, getting this great pitching performance for Cuba. Excuse me, for Japan. Manager Hara, you know, gets the pressure off of him because he knows he's got the legendary Sadahara O here. He's got the history of the defending champs under manager O, and he was expecting his players to not only, you know, pitch well, but also get out ahead early. And I think that's given him a lot of relief to have the performance that he had from Iwakuma, and then the timely hitting, as they call it in Japan, from some of those young kids.
Outside 2-0. Hara is an accomplished manager in his own right, a terrific player when he played, but he is not Sadaharu O. He does not have that kind of a legacy. Nobody does. Manager of the Yomiuri Giants. Tatsunori Hara. And we talk about the pressure on the Cuban team, but the passion for baseball is just as strong in Japan as it is in Cuba.
Well, when they have 37,000 people come to the first workout for Team Japan, you know the passion is very, very high.
We talk about players going away from their team, but how about a manager leaving his team in spring training as they prepare for their season? That, in my mind, is remarkable that an active manager is gone for this period of time.
Ball four. Well, we've all filled out a scorecard or two in our day. Here's what it looks like in Japanese.
That's what orals look like, too.
Wait a minute.
It does.
Wait a minute.
I can't read it. I missed something here and there, and I look at yours.
The only difference is Earl's usually given up by about the 6th. He doesn't make it to the 8th.
Oh, for sure.
So there you have it. In
I can read the
Japanese,
top.
4-0. With a pinch runner at first base, Yasuyuki Kataoka comes in now to run for Ogasawara.
Kataoka filled in at shortstop the last few days for Nakajima. He was under the weather, doing a nice job.
And here's Kosuke Fukudome, 1 on 1 out, top of the 8th. Japan continuing to lead 4-0. If Japan plays South Korea tomorrow night, we talked about it a little bit, the winner would win this pool and play the United States in the semifinals. The loser would finish second and play Venezuela in the semifinals. And I think at this point, to be honest, you can make a case that any of the 4, Japan, Korea, Venezuela, United States, could beat any of the other 4 or lose to any of the other 3, excuse me, in the semis. They're all really good teams. How important do you think it is, Oral, for Japan or Korea? You know, how hard are they going to go tomorrow in that game if they play each other?
I think manager Hara will rest the people he wants to rest, start the people he wants to start. But once the lineup is written and once the bullpen is put in order, he will keep the pitch counts down of the guys he wants to go to the semifinals and the finals. But the passion of the players, once the manager makes his decisions, will be all out. They will go as hard as they normally go. The rivalry is so intense. But I think the strategy part will all be done by the managers. But I don't think the players will let up at all.
You know what? We have an apples-to-apples comparison. They did play a game at the end of round 1.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-0 game. They started their regular players. Their pitchers pitched phenomenally well on both sides of it. And so I would suspect we're going to get the same thing. This is about pride. It's not only about winning the World Baseball Classic. There's a real, true rivalry between those two teams.
Now, two things there. In round 1, the winner would play Mexico in their first round of game 2. The loser would play Cuba. And maybe you can differentiate the talent levels between those two more than between USA and Venezuela. Just back in time. Yeah. The other thing you can say is, hey, if we win the game, we're going to face Jake Peavy. If we lose the game, we're going to face Felix Hernandez. Now, right now, Felix Hernandez is pitching better.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would look at?
Well, I think they're going to play to win, huh?
They're going to play to win. I think so, too.
No, but if you play to win, you face Peavy. If you lose, you face Hernandez.
I think Peavy's going to be better his next outing. I think he was going through a little dead arm period, I hope. You know, in spring training, you go out, you cut it loose, you really have a good outing, or even just where you really extend yourself, and then your next outing you go, ooh, I got a little flat tire, and your arm's still getting in shape. And I expect Jake Peavy to be much better.
I think the other things that will be very interesting is, will there be a home field advantage for USA? I mean, will the fans come out in Los Angeles and support what is a fabulous tournament? And you've got the USA in the semifinals. Will they come out and rally around them?
Well, I'll tell you, the Korean fans are going to be there.
They are, you're right.
Huge numbers.
And organized and
yes.
loud.
There's a huge Korean population in the Los Angeles area. The Korean fans have been, as you say, the loudest and the most organized. And I think there have been more Korean fans here in San Diego, and there are going to be a lot more in Los Angeles.
I got calls today because people think I have connections still back to the Dodgers as far as, can you get me tickets? Can you get me tickets? And I just said no. Ask Steve.
Yeah.
And that pretty much finished that.
I gave out Steve's phone number.
I got no juice.
I got some for my son through Tommy Lasorda, but other than that, that's about as far as I can go.
Drop the name of the world ambassador on it.
Well, for sure. You know, it happened to be when my son called, I happened to be at lunch with Tommy. So.
Who paid?
The restaurant owner.
Really, you don't say.
Yeah, wow.
Joe Busalaki paid. Joe's got some nice restaurants that Tommy and I have frequented.
Runner is going. Throw down, hits him, and bounces into shallow center, but Kataoka will be contented with the stolen base. The count now runs full on Fukudome.
Not sure where Nava, the shortstop, was. I mean, he's late getting to the base right here. Kataoka gets a good jump, tough pitch from Marino to throw that leaks in, but late getting to the base, and the ball tails into the runner and kicks.
Yeah, even if he'd been early, I'm not sure he's catching that ball because of the throw, but you're right, he was late.
Good hustle by Oliveira to back up.
Yeah.
So Japan with a runner in scoring position with a 1 out as Pastano, the starting catcher, looks on. Mourinho just came in this half inning defensively after pinch hitting last half inning. Every run so critical in Japan. They're not a huge home run hitting team, content to move runners, tack them on, one here, one there. Fukudome 0 for 2 with a walk, hitting .235, 4 for 17 in the World Baseball Classic. Japan and Cuba with the winner going on to Los Angeles for the semifinals. The loser is out. And it has been a very strong night for Team Japan. On the mound with Hisashi Iwakuma at the plate. A pivotal error committed by Cuba, allowing 2 runs to score. And it's 4-0 Japan, looking for more here in the 8th inning. 3-2. Well, that's ball 4. Excuse me. That's ball 4, and Fukudome will take the walk. The second walk given up by Gonzalez, and the 6th walk given up by Cuban pitchers tonight. Well, we talked about Japan and Korea looking ahead. Should Japan go on to win this game, and the rivalry that exists between these two countries, it is fierce. You were talking about a lot of very proud men playing the game for themselves and their countrymen. And Korea in the World Baseball Classic, as you can see, they have had their share of success. They also have beaten them in the Olympics. Korea, the reigning Olympic champion. And this is kind of like the little brother in terms of less history, less tradition in Korea. The little brothers jumped up and said to the big brother, hey, not so fast. Times are changing.
Hey, you think Chan-Ho Park was the first South Korean to come over here and play in the United States? Peter O'Malley and the Dodgers brought him over. I was on the team, still got to help break him in with the interpreter and all that. It's amazing how far they've come in so short a time.
You know, scouts at the Olympics, and having watched here in the World Baseball Classic, the Korean team is playing with more passion than anybody else is, with more energy than anybody else is, and they look hungrier than everybody else. I mean, you know, in the game yesterday, they were fired up. They're slapping high fives going down the dugout when they scored runs, and I really think that Korea wants to make a statement. They want it more than Japan does right now.
And you wonder if Korea is in Japan's heads like Japan appears to be in Cuba's heads, as you've discussed, the way some teams just don't play that well against certain other countries. A huge statement, of course, was made at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, where South Korea won Olympic gold in baseball for the first time, and they beat Cuba in the gold medal game to do it.
I'll tell you what, of the two Asian teams after Japan and Korea, Korea plays, for me, the complete game because they have power hitters. They have larger guys in the middle of the lineup, more American-style baseball. So you see the small ball, you see the running and the speed, you see the discipline from the Asian side of the defense, but they also have some boppers in the middle.
Well, what we really saw with Korea and Japan playing in the game yesterday was speed was a factor, great defense was a factor, and you really saw South Korea executing and getting things done.
Some highlights from yesterday. 3 runs in the first for Korea. Jin Young Lee drives in Hyun Soo Kim to put them up 3-0. Great defense as always by the Koreans. A double play to get out of the 4th inning. And then Kwang Hyun Kim strikes out Ogasawara to win the game. You talked about it. There's the enthusiasm for Team Korea. Moving on, planting the flag on the mound as they advance to the semifinals in Los Angeles. In 2 World Baseball Classics, Korea did not make the finals last time, but they went 6-1. The only loss was to Japan in the semifinals. Their only loss this year was to Japan back at round 1. They have not lost to any other country in either classic other than to Japan. Double steal. And out at third on the front end is Karaoke.
Well, high throw up the line. I think the tag goes on to the head. Just doesn't get there in time. Strong throw, but a little inaccurate. Yep, it gets him right. That pop-up slide. If he stays down and doesn't go for the pop-up slide, goes low into the left field side, he's safe. And he went for the pop-up slide, came short of the bag, and as he rose up, got it right up there in the face.
The 2 down, runner at second. And a big swing and a miss by Jojima.
Vladimir Garcia thought to be the closer of the future for the Cuban national team. One of the livelier fastballs on their staff that we've seen.
That last fastball, 96 miles an hour. Pops him up. Pedroso, the first baseman, straddling the bag, makes the catch and ends the inning. No runs, no hits. 1 man left to the bottom of the 8th. Cuba down to its last 6 outs, facing elimination and trailing 4-0.
They won the MLS Cup in 2008. Nothing like getting for an expansion team, getting a coach who just won a championship.
You know, we shouldn't laugh. He was out in front of the Morehead State game. I mean, he knew that the Eagles were going to beat Alabama State.
Steve Peterson with that baseline jumper to get him in.
Congratulations to the Eagles, who will stay in Dayton, play Louisville on Friday. Siggy Schmidt, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Columbus last year.
4-0 Japan over Cuba as we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Cubans are down to their final 6 outs. They are facing elimination. A couple of defensive changes for Japan as Karaoke stays in the game at third base and Murata moves from third to first.
Do you tip research to get those tidbits right before we go to a soccer promo?
I'll tell you what, I spend my entire day studying all the different sports because you never know what one of the promos might be.
The batter is Oliveira, and the count is 0-2. This is the leadoff hitter for Cuba, so their best hitters are going to get up at some point this or next inning. They have not given up the fight yet, Team Cuba. They were shut down for 6 innings by Iwakuma, and Oral, I don't know if they're in any better shape against Sugiyuchi out of the Japanese bullpen.
Right, you got command from the left side now instead of the right side. Devastating stuff. A winner, that's for sure. He's pitched in a lot of big games over his career.
Talked about the Cuban national team players make about $550 a month to play professional baseball there, and their meal money in the World Baseball Classic over 2 days is more than that. So they want to stay alive just for the meal money.
Swing and a miss, 1 down, third strikeout amongst the 4 outs for Sugiyuchi. Down to 5 outs remaining for Cuba.
Well, outstanding breaking ball. Looks like that fastball away right there and just bites. Catches the bottom of the strike zone for a called strike, but it gets the swinging one also. That ball had great finish.
1 out in the bottom of the 8th, 4-0 Japan. The batter Michel Enriquez, the DH, 0 for 3.
Well, he really has 2 different breaking balls like that. He took something off the last one that he got Oliveira on, and that one was a little bit harder.
Just missed, ball 2.
I really like the way he goes about his business. It's all there. He gets the ball back from the catcher, walks right back up to the mound, keeps his head down. You can see him grinding on the next pitch. Very simple mechanics, compact delivery, repeats it. It just looks like every movement has a purpose.
He does a little wiggle with his glove out in front, too. Almost it looks like for some deception purposes.
Line to third, caught by Kanaoka. 2 down. For more on the pitcher, Sugiuchi, let's go down to Orestes Destrada.
Yeah, and I was talking to Wanchan, as we call him, Sadahara O. He was very pleased when Sugiuchi came in the game. He managed Sugiuchi for several years, and one of the things that he uses as a tactic also, that being Sugiuchi, is that baby face of his. And Osan was saying, don't be distracted by that baby face. He's got a killer arm. So this kid is a tough competitor, led the league in strikeouts once again in Japan.
2 outs, nobody on. 5 consecutive outs since coming out of the pen as we get a foul ball back just below us.
Steve was ducking.
I was.
But he uses his baby face as a deceptive tool up here.
A starter in Japan, a reliever here in the World Baseball Classic. Pops him up. Shortstop, Nakajima back. The inning is over. We are through 8. Cuba is running out of opportunities. Back in San Diego, top of the 9th inning, Japan 4, Cuba nothing. After the game here tonight, baseball tonight with Steve Berthune. Back in the studio, get you caught up on the Venezuela-United States game as well, and other goings-on around the major leagues. Nakanori Iwamura will lead it off against Vladimir Garcia. 4-0 Japan. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. They have now shut out the powerful Cuban offense for 17 innings in 2 games in this round. A 6-0 shutout win on Sunday, a 4-0 lead here tonight. And there would appear to be no reason for Sugiuchi not to come out and work the 9th unless they wanted to keep him under 30 pitches and have him for tomorrow. At this point, you'd think they would just try to keep Sugiuchi out there. He's been great. Let him finish him off and rest him up. He can go again in Los Angeles. Nobody throwing right now in the Japanese pen. Daisuke Matsuzaka, who has been in mid-season form here in the World Baseball Classic, as it's fouled off 2-2. 3 of the 4 participants in Los Angeles. We know who they are. Venezuela, the United States. Venezuela, the winner by virtue of their win over the USA tonight, earlier tonight in Miami. South Korea will play the winner of this one, looking more and more like Japan to determine who's the winner and who's the runner-up in this pool.
You know, when Orestes did his interview with Sarhara O, he said that manager Hara chose this team, knows this team, and he trusts his judgment in the team that he put together, and the pressure that's been removed from him for them winning this game. Well, 10 of the 13 Japanese pitchers are normally starters, so he has plenty of people to choose from on who will start tomorrow.
Garcia's got it, and he'll take it himself to the bag for the out. But we would assume that Matsuzaka and Darvish would be held back. They're not going tomorrow.
No,
they're going to be held back. They're not eligible.
They're not eligible to pitch tomorrow. Now you see a high chopper there that Garcia goes to get it, and then he takes a look at first base and realizes, you know what, Pedrosa's not there. Let me hustle over and go get him.
As Steve mentioned earlier, it bears repeating. We'll talk about it more as the inning goes along. In Cuba's last 50 major international competitions, they have won 42 of them and finished second in the other 8. That streak is on the verge of ending. Now, in many of those competitions, they may not face the caliber of competition that they are here. Even though there are numerous players for various countries who are good enough to be in the Classic and aren't for contractual or injury reasons, this is still better talent across the scope of the 16 countries than you're getting in just about any other competition.
Well, you know, the Beijing Olympics, both Korea and Japan sent major league players there. The United States did not. And, you know, the Korean team we're seeing in the World Baseball Classic is missing their biggest slugger.
Yeah.
Sung-Yuk Lee, who had 5 home runs in the World Baseball Classic in 2006. A 2-run homer in the semifinal game in the Olympics. A 2-run homer in the gold medal game in the Olympics to win it.
And he's with the Yomiuri Giants in Japan, which is manager Hara's team.
Right.
And his coaching staff is running spring training for him.
I'm calling conflict of interest with the whole thing there. I don't know. I mean,
Well, manager Hara, we asked him, what is it like to be an active manager, not be there? And he said, I trust my coaching staff. He should also trust his owner.
yeah.
Ichiro rips a ball right center field, and it's going to get all the way to the fence. And he's rounding second. And he's into third, standing up. After starting this round 0 for 12, a chopper for a single last time up, and a triple to center this time.
Well, you never know what's going to break you out of a slump. Sometimes it's a little flare over the infielder's head. Sometimes it's a chopper, but you get that relief of a hit. There's the ball out over the plate. And you see him stay behind the ball, which he hasn't been doing. He's been kind of leaking out, but stays behind it and drives it. A surprising power over Cespedes' head.
Well, that's a significant event, him getting the chopper hit in this triple, because that could change the whole World Baseball Classic and who becomes champion. That is how much of an impact player Ichiro is on a game. And if he all of a sudden gets hot and their pitching is there the way it is and their confidence, this could change. The game tomorrow against Korea, if he stays hot, watch out when they get to LA.
Infielders come in now for Cuba. Runner at third, 1 out, 4-0 Japan. In the top of the 9th inning, and a breaking ball, a curveball spun out of the hand of Garcia and hit Nakajima in the back.
It wasn't on purpose. That's a overthrown curveball to try and save that run with 1 out and a man on third. You're trying to bite it extra sharp, so you throw through it. It spins out the top of your hand and it backs up and it hits the hitter. It's a good job by Joe West to recognize that, a veteran umpire, knowing that this is not a hit batter on purpose. He recognizes the breaking ball and there's no problem.
And we could have another pitching change coming here for Cuba, with the left-hand hitting Aoki coming up next. So to the bullpen one more time as Garcia will leave. And we will step aside here in the top of the 9th. Japan on the verge of victory, leading 4-0 and looking to add to the lead here in the top of the 9th. Welcome back to San Diego. Japan leading Cuba 4-0. We're in the top of the 9th. First and third, 1 out as Danny Betancourt comes in, the new pitcher for Cuba. And looking more and more like Japan will win this game. That will mean they will advance to the semifinals. They'll sort it out for seeding with Korea tomorrow. But guys, if it's Japan, Korea, Venezuela, and the United States, is there a favorite? Is there an underdog? How do you look at this?
Well, it's hard to pick because we don't know who's going to be on the American team when we finally get to LA. They've got so many injuries with Euclid going down. Is it going to be Evan Longoria? Who's going to come onto the roster? Who's going to play first base? Where are we there? And I don't know. It's hard to not pick Japan the way they're playing right now with Ichiro getting hot.
It's hard for me not to pick Korea. They just play their game. They don't try to be something that they're not, and they've got the pitching depth. They've got different looks out of the bullpen, and they play defense. They can win those close games.
And the United States will have to replace Chipper Jones, Kevin Euclid, as Danny Betancourt, the 6th pitcher of the night for Cuba.
Matt Lindstrom.
Right, over the bullpen.
Ryan Braun, can he still play? Right. He was not able to go.
The roster could look completely different.
Although Brian Roberts came in and gave them a little spark. You know, that stolen base in the game last night was absolutely critical.
On a missed sign.
On a missed sign. And if Felipe Lopez had gotten to the bag earlier, he might have gotten the tag on him.
But you can certainly make a case for any of the 4 countries winning it.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, the USA, you go Peavy and Oswalt, and they get locked in.
Well, that's the thing. I was just going to say it's going to be very hard for Jake Peavy to lock in after a bad outing in a very high-pressure game this early in the season. There's nothing to fall back on because you haven't been pitching that long. It's okay when you get off to a really hot start and you go, okay, you get on a roll and it's great, you get through the tournament. It's one thing to hit a rough outing like that and then jump back on the horse. When he goes into his bullpen session to try and fix it for the next outing, he's like almost starting from scratch.
There's something about Jake Peavy, though, that I'm proud having him represent the United States, because he's a battler.
Now, as you guys have mentioned, but for people who've been following the tournament, double elimination format in round 1 and round 2, you get to Los Angeles, that's gone. 2 semifinals, 1 game, single elimination, and then the championship game on Monday night. So the United States, not only did they lose to Puerto Rico, they were blown out, mercy ruled by Puerto Rico, but managed to come back and pull it out again last night against Puerto Rico. The big hit by David Wright to advance to the semis, but there will be no second opportunities for any of the 4 countries in LA. Ichiro at third and Nakajima at first. The batter Aoki is 3 for 4, 3 singles. He has scored a run and driven in a run. The number 3 hitter in the Japanese lineup. Japanese fans booing Betancourt for continuing to throw over to first.
Well, the 5th run in baseball, when you're going ahead, is the manager's run. They want something beyond the grand slam. I remember Tommy in the dugout cheering for the 5th run just as much.
He's diving back in there. And he's like, he's pooped. He said, "Uncle, I'm done. I'm all right. I'm going to shorten the lead. I'll start with my foot on the base."
Through the right side, a base hit and another run. Ichiro scores 5-0 Japan. And the 4th hit of the night for Aoki.
Well, sometimes you heard me describe hitters sometimes as hookers, and this is what he's done. He's hooking this ball, the top hand, and get the barrel of the bat out very quickly. Keep the butt end of the bat around your waist so the bat almost hooks around your body, and you hook it into that hole with the man on first.
So first and second, 1 out, a run in to make it 5-0. And the batter is Inaba, the designated hitter, 1 for 4.
You know, we've talked a lot about players that stand out on the different teams. Certainly Frederick Cepeda, we talked a lot about him. I really like Aoki. He is some kind of good player. Good range in the outfield. Tremendous instincts on the bases. Good hitter.
He plays the whole game.
Fly ball to shallow center field. Cespedes in to make the basket a catch of sorts for the second out, and the runner's back. Now Japan, we are told, is 16 hours ahead from Pacific time. So it is coming up on 3:30 in the afternoon tomorrow. Does that sound right? That sounds right. So this is sure a lot of people are watching at work or skipping work just to see how Japan fared against Cuba in this elimination.
Probably not skipping work in Japan.
No.
That's an American thing?
Yeah.
Fouled back, 0-1 on Murata.
I thought he was going to ask you to do that in metric.
No. But there was, I think it was about Japan that I saw, the game against Korea had a rating like 43 or something like that, which means I think
that 37% of the country or something.
Everybody
watching
was watching. Yeah.
Everybody.
It's amazing. It means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot. They love their baseball and their team and the pride. And
there'll be a high rating on the game tomorrow against Korea.
Working a bad grounder, hit weakly out to short to end the inning. Another run for Japan to the bottom of the ninth. Cuba is 3 outs away from elimination, trailing 5-0. Japanese fans continue to enjoy themselves and celebrate on the verge of a victory, up 5-0 going to the bottom of the ninth here in this elimination game of the World Baseball Classic. Coming up next here on ESPN, Baseball Tonight. Steve Berthune is standing by to update you on the WBC and all the major league goings on as well. 3 outs away from a trip to the semifinals, a rematch with Korea to decide seeding tomorrow night, a game that we'll have for you on ESPN tomorrow night beginning at 9 Eastern time. We'll be back here at Petco Park. The semis and final from Los Angeles, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All those games on ESPN. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Frederick Cepeda will turn around about a right-handed against the lefty Sugiuchi. Cepeda a quiet 0 for 3 groundouts tonight. First pitch swinging, fly ball right field. Ichiro, 1 down. And the reality clearly has set in now on Cuba that their incredible run of international success, if not a winning, coming in second, that it's coming to an end.
I mean, it's I'm sure devastating because the history and tradition of Cuban national baseball is something they take pride in. But you know, I don't go out swinging at the first pitch in the 9th inning with a, you know, you got to try to make the guy work a little bit and force him to show you can throw a strike, at least with the first pitch.
Well, Sugiuchi has faced 7 batters and retired 7 batters coming out of the Japanese bullpen. Here is Cespedes. And we hope that the play that happened to him earlier tonight, the drop ball in deep left center, the error that scored 2 runs, does not stay with him, that he can put it behind him. And he's played well since that error in this game. He's walked, had a triple, made a nice throw from the outfield, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, I know 30 major league teams that would take the kid in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, he is some kind of talent, and he's only going to get better. I mean, he is absolutely built like a power hitter, and he can run. Arm strength.
We are looking forward now to a Korea-Japan matchup tomorrow night. It'll be the 4th meeting between the two already in this World Baseball Classic. And of course, if they both win their semifinals, they would meet again in the championship game. They could play each other 5 times in the WBC.
We have a 6 o'clock start out here on the West Coast time.
Tomorrow, yes.
Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. No, 9 o'clock Eastern.
9 o'clock Eastern. Thank you. Going the other way.
You gonna need a wake-up
I was
call?
in Japan.
Are you going to need a wake-up call for that?
I probably will.
Past your bedtime, buddy.
Get out of here. Oh, you guys can do post game.
We'll text you when it's time to meet in the room. Just like me.
That'll be good.
The 2-2 from Sugiuchi. Swing and a miss at a curveball, 1 out away.
Well, this is historic. As much on the Japanese side, but really on the Cuban side. And we have to kind of tip our hat to Cuban baseball for what they've done for all these years before. They're going to now come below 2nd place.
Welcome to the real world. I mean, welcome to our world, right?
They're absolutely amazing, the generations of what they've accomplished in international baseball at this point.
As you guys said, it could be a case of their team not being as strong. Also a case of the Japanese and Korean teams becoming stronger, especially the Korean team in recent years.
Well, I've had a few innings to think about that since we talked about it, and I now agree with Steve. I think he's right. I think the rest of the world has gotten so much stronger.
And what it means for U.S. baseball is that we're gonna have more and more foreign-born players playing in Major League Baseball here in the United States. They're already like 28%, 29%.
Well, when I think about the last 10 or 20 years, I go back 20, there were things you admired about Asian baseball, Japanese baseball, Korean baseball, certain segments, and there was like one facet. Now they are multifaceted. They are the full diamond, and they've got all the attributes of good players and good teams.
And this should do it. Ichiro. And Japan is going to the semifinals in Los Angeles. Cuba, one of the favorites entering the tournament, has been eliminated. Sadaharu Oh enjoying himself. The legendary home run hitter, manager of this team in 2006 when they won it all. Japan still has a chance to defend its title as they join Korea, the United States, and Venezuela in the semifinals in LA.
Kisoshi Iwakuma, the story tonight for Japan. Outstanding pitching. We talked about he may be the best of the big three with Daisuke Matsuzaka and Yu Darvish. A tremendous arm, efficient with his stuff, and just cut through the Cuban lineup like a surgeon.
Sugiyuchi out of the pen with 3 perfect innings, including 4 strikeouts. And the final out off the bat of Despaigne, settling softly into the mid of Ichiro Suzuki. Japan wins the must-win game, eliminates Cuba, and advances to the semifinals. And compared to the Korean reaction yesterday, a more subdued celebration by Team Japan here tonight. Nobody prouder than Sadaharu Oh. They got the 2 runs in the 4th, and after that, it kind of felt like it was never in doubt with the way Japan was pitching and defending tonight. They win 5-0 over Cuba, and will play Korea for seeding purposes tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, here on ESPN2. The winner of tomorrow night's game between South Korea and Japan will play the United States. The loser of tomorrow night's game will play Venezuela. Venezuela beating the USA earlier tonight in Miami to win Pool 2. So Japan moves on and will play tomorrow night against Korea before heading to Los Angeles with Korea to join Venezuela and the USA in the semifinals. Cuba, the traditional world power, is out. The final score, Japan 5 and Cuba nothing, as Japan shuts out Cuba for the 2nd time in 4 days. Baseball Tonight is next here on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser, Steve Phillips, Orestes Destrada, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Dan Schulman thanking you for joining us tonight. Japan beats Cuba. Now to the studio for Baseball Tonight as we join Steve Berthew.